Just call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of consumer cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Lowe's knows saving pros time and money means getting the job done easier. Right now, save 10% on Georgia Pacific vinyl siding panels. Plus, save an additional 20% when you buy in bulk. And get free same-day delivery to the job site when you order by 2 p.m. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Offer valid through 9/4. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, tax, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The NFL has a new contract record. The Broncos and cornerback Patrick Surtain agreed to terms on a 4-year extension worth $96 million, making him the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. Seahawks fans will get a close look at Surtain in just a few days when the Broncos take on the Seahawks at Lumen Field for Week 1.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Bump and I are live from Virginia Mason Athletic Center, and man, we are excited for today's show. But I got to start with something just a little honest and kind of address the elephant in the room here. The Mariners haven't had the season that they or us wanted. They were at one point 10 games up in the AL West, but saw that lead squandered in a record 24 days, which is the quickest a 10-game lead has evaporated since 1914. That was 2 years after the Titanic sank. But Mariners fans, there's no Jack Dawson here to save us. We'll continue to root for our team because it's our team, even if it feels like the ship is sinking and the band is playing on, because we love baseball. So it's important that these guys continue to improve, most especially Julio. Obviously, Bump, you and I talked about it. So we're going to watch today. We'll watch tomorrow, and we'll keep talking about it. But I don't want you to feel down. So we've got some great news. It's football season. The Seahawks are back in action for games that actually matter on Sunday when they host the Denver Broncos. If you thought losing a 10-game lead in your division was bad, try carrying $53 million in dead cap for a quarterback no longer on your roster. Doesn't it feel good to know that's not you? Football's fun. Seattle has a new head coach and has been sharp in the preseason. Bump and I are going to talk about our expectations for 2024 and what we're watching for in Week 1. But that's not all. We've got Mike Golick Jr. joining us at 11 to talk about the new season. The Huddle's coming your way at noon with guest host Dave Wyman and a player interview with Reek Woolen. Say it with me now. More sports, more sports, more sports, more sports. It sounds like I'm saying smorts. Enough. Bump. Let's talk week 1. It's finally here. And, I say this in jest and I'm being silly, but it honestly could not have come at a better time.
Yeah, man, it's time to not completely shift our focus to the Seahawks because the Mariners still have a bunch of games left. And like you mentioned in that open you put together, well done, that you want to see some things. You want to see Julio improve. You want to see Rosarena do his thing. JP is back from an injury. Can he improve? At this point, that's my focus with the Mariners. Just get better and ride off into the sunset, whether that's a miraculous push to the playoffs or just, a disappointing season. Just get better. So now we focus on the Seahawks, and I love it because we're so full of optimism. You're undefeated right now. You're playing against the Denver Broncos. You got a rookie quarterback coming to Lumen. This defense could be fixed or in the process of being fixed. The offense, I think, should be good. There's so much to look forward to with the Seahawks, and I thank them for that.
I truly am excited. In fact, I would say over the last, specifically the 2 weeks, since the preseason has kind of come to a close and we've seen everything we needed to see from training camp bump, that both you and I have felt like our expectations have been higher for this team. Am I expecting a Super Bowl team? No. I mean, I'm looking around the league and I see what I think are the Super Bowl teams, and they are just at another level right now.
Right.
That, and they've got some really established figures, not brand new head coaches and young players that are figuring it out. But I do think this team can surprise a lot of people. And we've had Shil Kapadia on with us of The Ringer, who said, I actually think they could be one of the better defenses in the league. We've had Robert Mays of The Athletic on, who said, God, I actually really enjoy watching Geno Smith and think that this is a great offense for him. I mean, pick your poison in a good way when it comes to what you're most excited to see with this team, Bump.
I'm most excited to see the defensive box go to work. I want to see how the defensive line and the linebackers are connected. If there's any part of this defense I'm most confident in, it's the back end. Even though you will have a new safety paired up with Jay Love, we'll see Wallace and Jenkins back there. Reek Woolen, who we'll talk to in the huddle today, is going to be nice. And then we all know D Spoon's going to do his thing. I want to see that box. Can that box be assignment friendly and cause the chaos that the Baltimore Ravens box did to the Seahawks and everyone else in the NFL last year and the year before that? That's what I'm most excited to see. I'm most confident in the offense. It's kind of like my putt game, Stacey.
Okay, here we go.
Off the box, I'm a little erratic. I'll spread right. I might hook it left. I might even hit a little dribbler out there from time to time. But once I'm on that green, the putt game is usually pretty good. That's the way I look at this offense. It's like, look, man, they're going to be the most consistent part of this team, or at least we need them to be to start the season because of the guys they have coming back and the OC, Mr. Grubb.
Well, speaking of the offense, let's start with some sound from Tyler Lockett that I thought was really interesting. Cut number 1, Tyler talking about learning different things under each OC.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, new is good. You know what I mean? It's hard to imagine if you were in the same offense for 10 straight years, if there would be any excitement, for you coming in. Meetings will be a lot more difficult because you know everything left and right, because you've been a part of something for so long. And I think for me, it's been interesting because I think every 3 years I've had a new offensive coordinator. And so it's allowed me to approach the game different, and it's allowed me to see the game different and learn different ways and unique abilities to be able to use my skills to go out there and still try to do the same thing that I've been doing. So it's fun learning from each offensive coordinator that I've been under.
God, Tyler Lockett is just the most perpetually positive person, because I think there are many quarterbacks out there that while they wouldn't openly say it, they would make it very clear that constantly switching OCs or having a new one every couple seasons really does mess up your development. And here's Tyler going, man, imagine a life without change. He's so great.
Well, that's the thing about Tyler Lockett and Geno.
Yeah.
Geno's been through a bunch of coordinators already in his career. It's different when you are the guy relied upon to lead the defense every single snap, but he's been through this before. As a receiver, I think changing coordinators could be a challenge, but not as big of a challenge as it is at the quarterback spot, obviously. When these coordinators introduce their concepts, their formations, as a receiver, you're always going to be able to pick on, especially if you're Tyler Lockett. You've been in the game for 10 years already. You're always going to be able to associate this concept with something that Bevel did or this concept with something that Shoddy did. It's just the language that changes a bit. And I think that's the only way you can look at it. If you look at it as, oh, my goodness, another coordinator, what am I going to do? How can you expect yourself to perform at a high level? You must embrace the change, especially when you've been disappointed the last couple of years in your team's overall performance. So Tyler Lockett is always going to have the positive mentality. I think he should. As far as Geno, he's fine.
Let's see. We've got some more to talk with the offense. I'm going to stick with that for just a second before we get to defense. I know that defense is really the story of where they need to improve and of why Mike McDonald was hired. But, man, Bump, ever since your notes from the first preseason game, I've been really excited about what the offense could look like. I still remember hearing color commentary and them going, it's a little vanilla. You know, this is what you're going to see early. And you coming in going, no. Yeah. No, I loved the pieces that Grubb is putting out there. Let's hear what Tyler has to say about Geno, cut number 2.
Man, I think he's been phenomenal. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of people have said, like, this is probably the best that they've seen him and stuff like that. I think he's had the best camp that I've seen him have. And, you know, his mindset, I mean, I think he still has that mindset of, like, that dog mentality. I got to go out there and grind. I got to go out there and get it. You know, for him, I think, you know, there's a lot of reasons why he plays the game, but I'm just excited to still be able to be here playing with him and just being able to go out here and try to do what we can to make this team better.
I am really excited to see what Geno Smith can do in this offense. It's almost like we've inadvertently become Geno defenders just by virtue of Geno being an older quarterback, not being a drafted quarterback by this team. Faces a lot of doubt, and that's natural, that's normal, but I think there's an opportunity here for him to really take off.
What quarterback doesn't face doubt to start the season?
Man,
about
like
5
2?
or 6 of them. You know,
yeah.
Like Herbert is going to face some doubt. Can he get this offense going with Harbaugh?
Josh Allen is going to face doubt without Diggs.
Is he not going to turn the football over? You know, the Raiders, Gardner Minshew, is he the guy or is he just, holding the ball for a minute? There's always going to be some doubt. And your job every year is to go out and prove that you're capable of getting it done. And most of the time, most of the league is not going to be able to get it done to the level that the fans and the organizations expected. But Geno's he's in a different situation. There's no quarterback in the NFL right now that is in the situation that Geno was in. There's no quarterback that was drafted 10, 11 years ago, had an opportunity, sat for a while, and is now the starting quarterback and the franchise guy. Like, I'm committed to this dude.
Yep.
Even Gardner Minshew at his early stage of his career, the Raiders aren't committed to him. Go Cougs. They're not committed to him long term. He's just the guy for the time being. So that's what's interesting about Geno's position too, is that there's no one he can call in the league right now and be like, you're in the same situation. How are you handling this? Like, what's going on? He's kind of just doing this thing on his own. And that could be good in some ways, and I'm sure it can be frustrating in other ways. But it's unique. And I think because his position is unique, he has to take the unique approach of just not worrying about the haters, man. At this young, he's young, he's old, but he's young at the same time. He's old because he's been in the league for a while, but he's young and it starts in the league. It's so unique, and I'm so anxious to see how he's developed and grown over the past season.
Do you think this offense can make noise in week 1? I mean, the Broncos have moved on from a lot of guys, but they also did extend one of the best corners in the league, Patrick Surtain, who we'll see in week 1. I think that they have a chance to. I'm favoring them against the Broncos. Do you think there's a chance for the pass game to really explode, though?
Yeah, definitely. And it's because of Geno. It's because of the potential of that O-line. We still want to see what that configuration looks like. But most importantly, because of the guys on the outside, you are going to see Patrick, best corner in the game. He's getting paid like it. The highest paid cornerback of all time. You're going to have your challenges there. But from what I've seen over the past year and the offseason when it comes to the trio and Tyler Lockett, JSN, and DK, I think you'll be fine. And even throw Jake Bobo in there. Throw Rick Young in there. Those guys are going to be called upon to make a few plays. And let's not forget the tight end room. We didn't see Noah Fant this offseason or this preseason. You drafted A.J. Barner. You have Farrell Brown. There are just so many weapons over there that I feel good going into this offseason, or excuse me, this season. I feel better about it than I did last year, simply because of the the newness and what I think Grubb is going to allow this team to do. We haven't even seen Ken Walker really either. Like, there are still some things that we've yet to see on the football field.
Very good point.
So personnel, man. Personnel wins you games. Coaching's got to help. Coaching has to put you in the right position. But you start with personnel. When you look at the skill guys, I'll take these guys in any fight against anybody.
Let's talk about coaching and personnel when it comes to the defense. Let's first start with the coaching angle. We'll go to cut number 4, Jaron Reed talking about defensive communication.
I think it's good. I mean, if you guys can just hear what goes on that field, it's a lot of talking. And you got to listen. You got to be cued in. Even us up front, you know, we got a lot of talking to do as well. That all correlates with each other. That's how we practice throughout when we get in through the morning, through meetings, and it carries over to the practice field.
You don't have to be a first rounder to be able to understand your assignments and communicate effectively. Now, does pure raw talent typically show itself with higher draft picks? Yeah, obviously. But one thing this team struggled with outside of personnel differences, which we'll talk about coming up next, is that they just didn't look like a team that communicated effectively. They looked like a team that at times was lost. I don't know, as a fan, if I could say that, frankly, like, oh, they didn't understand assignments. Like, I don't think it's easy for me to sit back and say that. But there were gaffes as a defense where you just thought, who was supposed to get this guy?
Yeah, and that's why I love watching the games with the crew that I watch it with. You know, we got guys like Paul Moyer, Big Ray, Brian Walters, Babs will pop in, and it's nice listening to different perspectives. When I have a question on a coverage or defense, I look at Paul and say, what did you see there? Babs, what did you see? Then as a receiver, I diagnose it and look at it the way that I saw it. So there could be a time where I'm thinking, you know, there's a call. It was the USC-LSU game. To win the game, USC runs the football, score a touchdown, game's over. And I'm in this thread with some of the college analysts that I work with. And I think it was Herb Street who called that game, and he's saying, oh, man, the safety was so wrong. He flew down and followed the tight end. He's got to stay put. That's why SC scored the touchdown. And then in the text thread, the defensive guy goes, nah, that was cover 0. He's supposed to run with that tight end right there. So when you are able to look at the game from different angles and get different perspectives, I think it allows you to understand what they're trying to do. Last year, there were times where we looked at each other and didn't know what they were trying to do in that moment.
Wild.
And I'm sitting there with a whole bunch of football minds bouncing ideas off of each other. Yet have we sat there during the preseason, yes, it is the preseason, and looked at the defense and said, well, I don't know what they're trying to do there. Who had what? We're not going to have all the answers, obviously, because we're not in the prep room with these guys and getting all the notes or whatever. But for the most part, when we keep it vanilla and just look at basic responsibilities, the defense just looks sound. And then to go back to your communication, if you don't trust in the communication, then how are we going to execute on the field? It sounds like they trust the communication so far, and in the preseason, that's shown up on the field.
It's not a drastically new team, but there are some personnel differences. Let's go to cut number 5, Jaron Reed talking about number 16 overall pick, Byron Murphy.
Oh, I'm excited. I done seen what he could do. It's time for him to go out there and show the world. There's no pressure on him to go out there and do anything outside the ordinary. If he just let the game come to itself, he's going to make a lot of plays this season. I'm excited to see it myself.
It's time for him to show the world what he can do. Very high on Byron Murphy is Jaron Reed. I'll say this. In addition to Byron Murphy, you have Reek Wolin, who's looked really, really solid. You already had Reek. He's not new. But he's had a really solid preseason. And I'll throw in that you have Big Cat Williams for week 1, which was not the case last year.
Yeah. Cat came in second half of the year, made an immediate impact. But it's nice to have that foundation to start the season and for him to be with these guys during the offseason. When you have a veteran like that who's been around the block several times, who can teach guys indirectly, just the way he shows up and prepares and the way he talks and the way he practices, all that stuff is going to rub off on these guys. And for the first time in a while, I'm looking at this defensive line, I think you are too, and saying this is the most potential we've had on this D-line in a long time. With Big Cat Wins, with Jay Reed, with Byron Murphy. We'll see what Cam Young looks like. We haven't even talked about Draymond Jones this much this offseason either, or at all this offseason. So going in, again, week 1, I said yesterday, week 1 can fool you. It can trick you a little bit. But what it's not going to do is take away my optimism, because going back to my point I said a minute ago, it starts with personnel. And I really like the personnel of these guys on that defensive line. I'm waiting to see what that second level looks like with these linebackers, but it starts with the bigs up front.
All right, let's get to headline rewrites.
Read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, the Mariners were walked off for the third time in their last 4 games last night, losing 3-2 to Oakland. They've now lost 12 of their last 14 road games. What's the real headline?
The NFL season couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah, we need it. We need it. Mariners, they're a tough watch right now. They're tough because you see what they can be when they play at a high level. But when you continue to play in these close games, anything can happen. A team like the A's, who, when it comes to swinging the bats, are just better than you, honestly.
Which is wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. You keep them in the game, you're going to have opportunity. Anybody can win a game that's 2-2, bottom of the ninth. Anybody can win that game. These are professional athletes. And this has been the story for these guys on this road trip, is just not being able to put teams away. And same story, different day.
That's what's been so frustrating about this season is the Braves are fine as an organization, but at least with them, their struggles have changed, right? First it was, do we have the right starting pitching? Then it was like, oh God, we lost Ronald Acuna Jr. Like you have an obstacle, then you overcome it. Then you have an obstacle and you overcome it, and you figure out what it is. And heck, if they were fully healthy, they might be the 100-win team in this league this year. It's so frustrating when your team has an issue that is kind of the same from wire to wire.
Right.
Like the issue with this team from start to finish has been the offense. And that's so frustrating because within that, you've had a million opportunities to try to fix it. And when you can't, that means this team has a lot of questions to ask itself over the offseason, because this was not something that you could fix. This was not something coaching could fix. This was not something, that rest and time off could fix. This was not something that, personal hitting coaches could come in and fix. This is something that's a much bigger problem. I don't know what it is, but that's for the Mariners to really explore in what's going to be a tough offseason.
The only pushback I have to what you said is maybe coaching could fix it if they have enough time with these guys.
Fair.
I don't think the roster is strong enough to compete at a high level, but maybe if Edgar had more than 30-something games with these guys,
Fair.
They can improve a bit. How much? Who knows?
I'm curious to see. I'm assuming that Edgar will obviously remain on Dan Wilson's staff, with Dan not being the interim manager. Edgar joined us and said, I feel like these guys got a lot of numbers, and you don't just get to have like a simplistic approach to hitting. I'm curious to see if he or Dan have a say in the information guys are given or not given this offseason.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. I mean, we'll find out. We'll see what next spring looks like.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, interesting name. In the Seahawks facility yesterday, they worked out former Chiefs and Giants receiver Kadarius Toney on Tuesday. What's the real headline?
A workout that won't work out. I'm not sure why they're looking at Kadarius Toney when this was already a very tough position battle.
Yeah, that's interesting. Never hate on a man getting an opportunity, Kadarius. If you, I hope you had a great workout and you impressed these guys. I just look at the wide receiver room and I ask, who is he going to replace?
Yeah.
And is a guy like Kadarius Toney willing to play special teams? Because if you come on this team and you are a receiver in that room, you're going to start up at the 4th to 5th receiver, and those guys have to play special teams. I don't know if Kadarius is a special teams type of guy. That's an interesting move. I mean, do they carry 7 going into the season and keep Derek Young and Jake Bobo if they do make this move? It's interesting. I understand the speed that he brings to the table, a former first-round pick. The guy has some talent, and maybe the Seahawks are looking at him and saying, we can fix him, we can use him. Interesting move, though.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, fitting because his jersey number is 3, Damar Hamlin has been named one of Buffalo's starting safeties, and he's in line for his first start since suffering cardiac arrest during the 2022 season. What's the real headline?
Just give him comeback player of the year now. I know that they changed the rubric for what that would be. However, I feel like he would still fall into that, having had obviously a medical emergency. He died. And then overcoming that, yes, it would have been more than a season removed, but still, as Curtis mentioned in the headline, it would be his first start since then.
So who got comeback player of the year last year? That was Flacco.
And Damar was, I don't want to say not happy about it, but they asked him. He was like, yeah, I should have won it.
Yeah, he definitely should have won it.
He should have.
And that is the reason why they changed the parameters of this award, because they're saying, whoa. You guys aren't understanding the assignment here.
Yeah.
Make sure you read the directions of the assignment, guys, before you turn in your homework. That's essentially what happened here. And I think they should make an exception, honestly. Damar Hamlin is a starter in this league after he literally died on a football field and was brought back to life. That is amazing, man. I've had injuries to where I second-guess myself making moves for a while. For him to be out there, compete at a high level, and work his way up to the starting lineup, and that's amazing.
Comeback player of the year, I agree with you, should be reserved for you tore your ACL and then you came back and you rushed for 1,000 yards. Like, that's an unbelievable comeback.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, having a medical thing, an injury, whatever, preceding that year is what the intention of the award is. That being said, how do you recognize guys like Geno, who spent 7 years as a backup and then became a starter and set a franchise record for the Seahawks in passing yards and completion percentage? How do you recognize guys like Joe Flacco, who came off the couch to help lead the Browns to the playoffs? Like, how do you recognize those guys?
Man, we used to give it
bonuses.
We used to, in high school, we used to have the most improved award or something like that. It wouldn't be most improved, but you got to make it because guys are playing longer and guys are getting injured. So you're going to rely on veterans that come out of nowhere sometimes and help your team. But yes, I agree. There should be some type of recognition for guys in those situations. The only thing that made sense up to this point was comeback player of the year because they're coming back from being counted out. So that made sense. I don't know. Do something, NFL. Figure it out.
All right, we have a shorter show today, but we're still going to be here for 4 hours with you guys. At noon, we become The Huddle. Dave Wyman is going to join us, and we are going to be a 2-hour preview for week 1 of the NFL season. It is finally here. Seahawks taking on the Broncos Sunday at Lumen Field. We're going to start with a Mike McDonald press conference. You're going to hear from Seattle's new head coach for his first weekly press conference of the season. Later on in the show, you're going to hear our sit-down interview with Reek Wolin. You're going to hear from DK Metcalf. We're going to go in the trenches with Ray Roberts. Obviously, you're going to hear from Steve Rabel. We're going to get an opponent preview, all kinds of good stuff. And again, this is typically going to be Thursdays during the season, but today and then one other time we're going to have it on a Wednesday. But typically Thursdays, noon to 2, it will be The Huddle, and it's in a return. We're going to stick with college football here, though. It is UW Wednesday. Big Ten Network's Yogi Roth joins us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
The Daniel Jeremiah Show every Wednesday with us here at 8:30.
I'm all in on McDonald in terms of leadership, in-game intelligence, the ability to relate to guys, the cutting-edge scheme that everybody is copying around the league as well as in college football. So I'm all in on him. Geno, I'm excited for him. And anytime you have a new coordinator, Geno's the down-the-field passer, Grubb's the down-the-field coordinator. It appears as if it's going to be a good marriage.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
You know, someone asked me the other day, do you know how many devices the average home has connected to their Wi-Fi network? Well, it's way more than I thought. I actually went home and counted how many connected devices I own, and it is more than a dozen, all to keep me connected to the good stuff. My streaming, my gaming, all my interneting, you name it. And Xfinity knows that the number of devices we have connected to our internet is growing by the year. That's why they engineered their gateways to handle hundreds of connected devices. Hundreds, for real. And now through September 21st, you can get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. Make sure your home Wi-Fi can handle everything you throw at it, and then some. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to switch today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra after promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. So make the call to 1-800-XFINITY.
Hey, college students, want to save more on groceries? Every dollar counts, so my friends at Safeway are helping by giving all university, community, and technical college students an extra 5% savings every day. It's called Safeway for You. Sign up is free and easy. Safeway for You members get extra savings with perks, points, and free products. For all the details and terms, visit Safeway.com/FOR and the letter U. That's Safeway.com/for-you.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition smart bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Lowe's knows it's easier to make the right calls when you have the right team. That's why our Lowe's Red Vest associates can help with game time decisions. Plus, use in-store mode on the Lowe's app to find what you need. Under pressure at home and want it soon? Order online by 2 p.m. to get it same day. Same day valid on eligible in-stock items and select zip codes only, subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. Exclusions and more terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
This Thursday's Spotlight at Waterfront Park performance is Lady A Productions. Experience an evening of blues, soul, and gospel, September 5th at Waterfront Park on Pier 62. This free event is open to all ages, September 5th, 6 to 8 p.m. Lady A's performances are a fusion of high energy, profound storytelling, and messages woven with love and encouragement. Seattle's new waterfront is being built for you. Come and enjoy it. Full schedule of events at waterfrontparkseattle.org. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. Washington Wednesdays is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Washington Wednesdays, brought to you by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
It's Washington Wednesday. Joining us now, Big Ten Network's Yogi Roth on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Make sure to download and subscribe to Yogi's new podcast, Y Option, available wherever you get your pods. Subscribe to his newsletter at yoption.com. That's y-option.com. Yogi, what's up?
A lot. Week 2. Here we go. I mean, there's storylines galore. We're all either too dramatic or too calm. Like, nobody's steady right now, which is all good, right? Cougs are fired up. I know the dogs are excited, and I'm sure you guys are, and great to be back with you.
We are happy to have you. We are going to start, obviously, with the Washington schools, but I've got lots of questions about a couple different programs here. I'm going to start, though, with your first impressions of Jedd Fisch's debut as Washington's new head coach.
As expected. You know, I've known Jedd for a long time. We interviewed with the Seahawks. This is a fun story for your audience. On the top floor at some restaurant at the Hyatt downtown in Bellevue in 2009. And we happened to sit next to each other that night, and that's where we got to know each other. And you can just tell when you meet certain people, you're like, this individual is a rock star. And could tell, and of course tracked his team when he went to coordinate at Miami, and then, you know, all throughout the variety of his stops, most recently, of course, in Arizona. When he got to Arizona, I was going on a lot of media there, and I'm saying he just has a vision for what he wants it to look like as a head coach. And yes, certain things in year one will surprise him, but he's not going to be shooting from the hip. And we saw that in his time there, and I think we've seen that in his time early on at UW. He's had a vision. He's experienced now. His staff, to me, XO-wise, they're always going to put themselves in position to get a win. It's going to be a hard out for everybody they play just because of the style of play. And I think that's what we saw on Saturday night. It wasn't perfect in the opener, but there were some consistent elements that I think have followed him and his staff anywhere and everywhere they have been. And I think they're a top half team, in the Big Ten in year one. And who knows if they can go make a little bit more noise than that.
Yogi, what's up, man? Get to talk to you. It's been a while, dude.
Agree, and congrats on all your success, man. You know I'm always tracking you.
Appreciate just following your footsteps, big homie. Hey, you mentioned that the UW Weber State game and the way the outcome was expected. Was there anything that happened that was unexpected during that time? I mean, I think most people felt UW should have handled Weber State. And let me point out, as you know, Yogi, Weber State is a good program. These aren't chumps out there. I think that was a good win. But was there anything that surprised you during that game?
Maybe like how early DeMond Williams got in. I was watching that game after our game in Oregon. I was like, oh, here we go. Like, I love that he got him a lot of playing time. I know he wanted to. But no, not really. Giles Jackson maybe running the wrong route, to try to get to 100 might have surprised me, for being a veteran. I guess that's how that story went. I was reading that in a couple different spots. But no, I think they played really hard. I think they played really sound, playmaker-wise. I'm a fan of their receiving core. Bummed obviously with the injury to Quentin Moore, but I'm a big fan of some of the backups there, especially Kalecki. I think he's a really talented player who can do some special things for them on the offensive side. So not a ton. I mean, I know a lot was made out of Jeremiah Hunter not catching the pass, even though he played a ton. I mean, you play, man. Like sometimes that's just how it works, right? Whether the coverage rotates a certain way, a decision is made. But a really efficient offense. I think the thing that I like the most is the experience that Will Rogers brings. The amount of reps that he has taken in situational football, is going to trump so many other quarterbacks in this league. And I'm excited for that. When I was at UW practice in camp, Pete Carroll was there, and we were talking about that on the sideline of, like, you can't, like, replace experience, right? Whether that's a 2-minute drill, a 4-minute drill, a third down, a backed up. Like, he's just made every type of throw. So I'm just really excited for them. Looking forward to, probably watching the edge rushers on this defense continue to evolve in their scheme this weekend against Eastern Washington, because they've got, make no mistake about it, a real test in 2 weeks that they have to, they're going to have to play their best football to go beat, their rival with all the things off the field. But really, when you get to on it, John Mateer is a playmaker. So, to me, like, that defense needs to see DeMond Williams a lot in practice just to get used to a real dynamic athlete at that position.
How's it feel knowing that obviously only one of the two programs will be in the Big Ten, but we're going to see a September Apple Cup? I mean, we were joking yesterday, wow, could both teams be undefeated at the Apple Cup? It would be historic because typically that game is around Thanksgiving. Instead, we're going to see it in week 2. How weird does that feel, Yogi?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like, whoa, here we go.
Yeah.
Like, you're lucky sometimes to get like a meaningful, but like a nationally recognized non-conference game, right? Like UW's first 2 aren't necessarily that. You got Texas and Michigan this weekend. It is that, right? LSU, SC was that. So to get this type of rivalry, usually I feel like the earliest we see a rivalry is like Texas OU, right? Or Georgia, Florida. Yeah. I can't think of a September one in my career. I'm sure there's been anomalies here or there, but this is going to be it's going to be awesome. And I've been saying it for a long time. Like Washington State, after your favorite team, I think they should be every football fan's next favorite team. Like I've been calling them an Oregon State America's team for the last couple months, because if you've ever played a sport, even if you're a Husky, what happened to them was by no fault of their own. Right? They've won. They've been top 15. They've had first-round draft picks. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a fascinating environment based on everything that we know in terms of the conferences. And I think it'll be a heck of a game. I think it'll come down to like which quarterback makes 3 better decisions in the second half.
Hey, Yogi, when you look at the AP top 25, there's a common theme. Minus Notre Dame in the top 10, there's all SEC schools and Big Ten schools. Is that some foreshadowing there? I mean, I was watching something on ESPN this morning. They were like, look, this is like the Eastern and Western Conference. This is the way things are going to happen this year. How do you feel about that scenario, about those two conferences kind of leading the charge when it comes to great football play?
Well, I don't know. I think, preseason rankings are so unique. I think that when I look at all of those logos, regardless of conference affiliation, they are, you could argue, 10 of the best teams in America. I think Utah should slide into that. And it's just kind of weird when you say that. Like, when I look at those logos still to this day and I see Texas, I don't think immediately SEC. I see Oregon, I don't immediately think Big Ten. That's the new reality that we're in. So I also think that those two leagues have separated. Like, you look at the top of those leagues, and, I'm excited to see what Miami does with Mario Cristobal. But the top of the ACC, after that, I don't think it's what the other two leagues are at the top. The Big 12, we'll see. I think, K-State, Utah, Arizona, Oklahoma State, like, they're really fun, and I hope they all ball and win. But I don't know if they're the same animals as Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State and Oregon, and even throw, some SC in there based on their week one performance, let alone the schools in the South. So I think that's just where the sport is right now. And it's a bummer that that's going to be the narrative, right? It's just going to be about those two leagues, which then leads to the conversation of it's all about the money, and then it leads to all the things off the field that we should just talk about in February. So I just want to talk about the teams and the games and, who's playing well and who's struggling and how teams are growing and evolving, because that's to me why we signed up to be a part of college football.
Hey, last one for me, Yogi. Your new podcast, Y Option, explores college football through the lens of the West Coast, which all of us here as West Coasters would obviously say is hugely important. But I felt was also really important heading into a season where the Pac-12 has been mostly dissolved, and there's still really prominent historic programs that could have some really exciting seasons. Unfortunately, as a UW alum, one of those is going to be Oregon. But tell me what inspired you to start up this podcast, maybe in particular heading into this season.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Last year it was kind of like senior year in high school, right? Ashley Adamson, our colleague, would always say that. Like, you knew when the end was coming, and you got to celebrate it along the way. Usually when you change jobs, it's kind of like 2 weeks, maybe you send out a tweet, really grateful for where you spent your time, can't wait to share what's next, and 2 days later you share where you're going next. Like, you don't get that. Well, we got that all year long. And as we were going around to different cities and different campuses, I kept asking ADs, coaches, administrators, how are you going to share the stories of your athletes and your schools? And they kept saying, we don't know, right? Big 12 doesn't have a Big 12 network, right? The Big 10 has 18 teams. It's hard to, talk about Washington every single day or every single week. We're trying, like, I'm a part of that. I do it every Monday for an hour. But I just recognized, like, there was a window, right? Look at Cal and Stanford, and the fact that I could see the Pacific Ocean from Cal Stadium and they're in the Atlantic Coast Conference still makes zero sense to me. But there was an opportunity. So I started thinking these fan bases and these schools need an option. Y option is the most fundamental play in the West Coast offense, which I was trained in, and I love that. I was looking for an option because I was looking for a job as well. And my name's Yogi. So I said, all right, let's come up with this idea Y option. Let's celebrate college football through the lens of the West Coast, and let's have conversations. And it's not going to be screaming. It's not going to be yelling. Yes, you can have opinions and debates and all those things, but I'm exhausted by the debate culture and the screaming we relatively see pretty regularly on television right now. And I think that there's an audience that wants thoughtful dialogue. And I also want to help out a lot of these new fan bases. Like, when Michigan plays SC, when they learn about the Trojans, I hope they go to yoption.com as their source of expertise. Same thing, when they go out and play UW, or when UW goes to Penn State. Like, that's where I hope where we can kind of start driving conversation from the West, because I feel like for my 20 years in the Pac-12, we were often like responding to dialogue that came from the Northeast or the Midwest or the South. I said, all right, let's take a run at something. And then I got on with the Big Ten Network, and I thought, this is perfect. Get to call games in what I think is the grandest conference in the country, one that truly spans the country. And then I'll get to, during the week, really tell a lot of stories about all over college football, whether it's Kalen DeBoer at Bama, Jed Fish at UW, and everything in between, but through the lens of the West Coast, which I just felt never really happens.
It's a very, very, very cool podcast. Can't wait to listen all season long. Y Option. Make sure you download it wherever you get your pods. He is Yogi Roth of the Big Ten Network. Thanks, Yogi.
Thanks, Yogi.
Yeah, thank you. And make sure you check out the Coach Carroll episode. I think you guys will love that one.
We will. Thank you so much.
Okay, later.
All right, Get Off My Lawn coming your way next.
It's a new era for the Seahawks.
I can't wait to see what this defense looks like.
He is the complete opposite in so many ways of what we've seen.
It's a work in progress since the day you walk in the door of where we're at, where we want to go.
And Seattle Sports will take you behind the scenes as the team gets ready for the 2024 season.
I feel like this game was very explosive.
A defense where everybody knows what they're doing, and so that frees you up to just fly around the field and go make plays.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks.
In the Pacific Northwest, choose Star Rentals for construction equipment. With 18 locations, they deliver superior service and unmatched follow-through. Visit starrentals.com. Star Rentals, the preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Hey, babe. Yeah, the bank password is Moneybags, but a $sign instead of the S.
Mr. Moneybags here is about to get his identity stolen.
Wait, what?
If he used 1Password, he can share logins, credit cards, and other important information with just his wife, not the whole store. Sir, your card's been declined.
Again?
Security is complicated. 1Password isn't. And right now, get a free 2-week trial at 1Password.com. That's 2 free weeks at 1Password.com.
Want to listen to Seattle Sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle Sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Would you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Hey, Brock Heward here, and I have had my share of sports injuries, and I know a little bit about pain. Well, that's what football will do to you from head to toe. But you don't have to play professional sports to know what I'm talking about. Painful joints from arthritis can affect anyone and make it hard to do pretty much anything. Well, that's where my friend, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine comes into play. He has seen so many patients through the years suffering from chronic joint pain caused by arthritis. So don't let pain stop you from your quality of life. Don't let pain stop you from enjoying life. Consider Dr. Nelson the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. That's right, your own stem cells and platelet-rich plasma to harness your own body's healing potential. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
It's the hottest, littlest band in the world. Mini Kiss, live at Muckleshoot Casino Resort, only September 27th and 28th. Rock and roll all night with this larger-than-life tribute to the iconic Kiss, live inside Galaxy. Get your tickets right now at muckleshootcasino.com. And don't miss Mini Kiss, the 27th and 28th.
Muckleshoot. From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It is a Wednesday. It's 10:45, and you know what that means. It's Get Off My Lawn. Michael Bump is telling us 3 things grinding his gears this week. Bump, what you got?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Let's do it. This was a double whammy because I prepared this one last week. Oh, is it on now, Matthew? All right, here we go.
We're at Virginia Mason.
Hey, my bad. We got a new system. Brenda Rogers, you know that last name. She hooked us up with a new system. So here we go. First one, man. This one's a double whammy because I prepared it last night, and I wake up and a guy named Nate Burleson,
who?
Good Morning America,
Never heard
is
of him.
talking about the same thing kind of that I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to say it anyway.
That's so rude.
This goes out to all you football fans. Leave Taylor Swift alone this year. We got after her last year. We're tired of seeing her on camera. So what? You know what she did? She brought a whole bunch of young women to NFL Sundays, got them to Arrowhead Stadium, boosted sales and viewership and all that good stuff. And guess what? The Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. She had no negative effect on Kelsey or the Kansas City Chiefs. I fell a victim to that. I'm like, why am I seeing Taylor Swift on my TV all the time? And you know what? After a couple weeks, I left her alone. Because Kelsey was balling, because the Chiefs looked like they were able to win another championship. So this is what we're doing. Leave Taylor Swift alone. That's my first one.
I actually really like that one because some people get so bothered, and it's like, what does it matter to you?
Doesn't matter.
Didn't they do studies, and it was like she was on camera for a total of like maybe 90 seconds, but it felt like so much more because get off my screen. Chill, bro.
Yeah.
Chill. Not everything is meant for you. I don't know how to tell. Not everything is meant for you. Bump, what you got next?
All right. Next up.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
All right. Now, I have an issue with some fans because some fans get mad or were mad when Brandon Ayuk was holding out, when CeeDee Lamb was holding out, and now Jamar Chase hasn't gotten a job yet. And this is what I say to those fans. Get mad at those owners. Those owners should be ready and prepared to pay these guys. Brandon Ayuk was in his option year. You knew you were going to have this conversation. Put the money aside. Get ready to go. Our vacation, hopefully we're going to Hawaii next year. Guess what we're doing, Stacey? Put money aside for that Hawaii trip. Mm-hmm. Do this for your receivers. Number 2, CeeDee Lamb. Everyone's mad at CeeDee Lamb. He needs to just show up and play. No, he doesn't. Go get your money. Jerry, you got the money. Put it aside. Get ready to go. And now this last one, Jamar Chase. The thing with Jamar Chase is that he wants to negotiate a bit earlier than you typically do in your contract years. He's played 3 years. Typically, you wait until your 4th, 5th year, then you do it. So what? He wants to get paid right now. It is in your best interest that you pay these guys as early as possible, because if you don't, they're going to be more expensive. Instead of 30 mil, it's going to be 35. Instead of 35, it's going to be 40. So people yelling and hooting and hollering and getting at these athletes for not showing up to camp because they want more money, get at these owners. The players are actually doing them a service by wanting to get paid earlier so you can save some money in the long run. Look at it that way. This is their one opportunity guaranteed to make as much money as possible, because their second contract, they're probably going to fall off a little bit, and they're not going to be as valuable, and the team will get rid of them. So you can get mad at the players, but get at these owners too. Hold now. What the heck are they holding down Cincinnati for? You think the Cincinnati Bengals have a chance of going to the Super Bowl or winning a Super Bowl without Jamar Chase? No, they do not. Do you think, well, the 49ers are a bit different. They could make a run. They could make a push. But you knew this was going to happen. Cowboys, you ain't doing nothing without CeeDee Lamb, and you better work on your quarterback too. So let's focus on the owners a little bit. We've got out the players long enough. Let's get at the owners. Share the wealth and the hate when it comes to holdouts. Thank you, please.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Last up.
Last one. It is fantasy football season, and there are drafts going on all across the country. And there are some things that we need to talk about when it comes to fantasy football drafts.
Okay.
The etiquette of a fantasy football draft.
Woo! I'm excited for this one.
One, if it is a live draft, don't you walk through that door of that garage without something in your hand. Whether it's cold beers, whether it's chips, whether it's dips, or something.
Facts.
You're going to someone's house or an establishment, walk in there with something in your hand.
Thank you.
Two, don't ask to change the start time the day of the draft. No, people have set up their lives for this draft, okay? Do not ask, oh, can we push it back 30 minutes? No. If you're going to be late, you're going to be late. That's on you. 2 or 3, if you cannot participate actively in the draft, put the auto draft feature on. Don't have us sit around for a minute and a half, 2 minutes every time your pick is up. We could be out of here 20 minutes earlier if you just do that. Another one. This is for the ladies out there, because this is what I have the most trouble with. If it's a live draft and it's a 2-minute clock, it's a 2-minute clock. I've dealt with some women in my family who use the I'm a girl card. Y'all can't be mean to me. I don't care if it's past 2 minutes. Let me pick. Then their husband is sitting right there. We don't want to disrespect the husband because that's your lady, but we're looking at you like, bro, it's 2 minutes. Next person is up. I've had an incident where the lady was like, I'm a girl. You guys let me do my thing.
What?
And we're like, what you mean? And then the husband's sitting there. He's not saying nothing. And we're saying, look, her turn is gone. We should be able to go and pick it up. So for me, that's happened with the ladies. It might happen to you with anybody. But clock integrity. If it's a live draft, you got 2 minutes to put your name up there. Don't get mad if someone skips you and they take the guy you're looking for and they put the name on the board. Clock integrity is big, all right? So those are my things. Don't show up empty-handed, okay? Don't try to change the time. Hold people accountable with clock integrity, and put the dang auto draft on if you're not going to actively participate in the draft. Save us some time.
Thank you. Also, let the auto draft. Does the auto draft in yours also go all the way down? Auto draft should be in 2 seconds.
2 seconds, real quick.
If it's auto draft, it should be,
Boom.
that's it. That's your pick, and we're moving to the next person. I don't want to sit through. In fact, you should know already who you want to take. You shouldn't take more than 30 seconds to make
It should
your
be narrowed down to like 3 guys.
Truly,
at that point.
get your cue ready.
Yeah.
Don't be a loser. These are all great. I love today's Get Off My Lawn. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. We have a new weekly guest for the NFL season. Mike Golick Jr., one half of Gojo and Golick, joins us Wednesdays to break down the biggest stories from around the league. You're going to love his insight, love his energy, and his first ever show with us is coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
This is really a prove-it year for Gino. Yeah. It really is.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
And I think Gino is the kind of guy that if you ask him to bet on himself, he absolutely will. Everything that he says, he's got a ton of confidence, and I love that about him. He's not cocky about it either. Yeah, he had almost 70% completion rate 2 years ago, and that led the league. So this is going to be a very, very interesting year with Gino.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. In the past 5 years, we've seen thousands of men at our clinics. Most guys tell us the same story, that in their early 50s, it's not that they couldn't function, they just needed help. They started taking Viagra, and it worked great at first. But after a few years, it stopped working. The problem is that their arteries had become more restricted since they started taking it, because Viagra does not unclog arteries. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we use acoustic wave therapy to target the real problem. We break down plaque and clear up the arteries so blood can flow like it did in your 20s. This restores function. And guys, listen to this. You won't have to take a pill anymore. So if this sounds like you, give West Coast Men's Health a call today and see how we can help.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
There's an old saying that a house is not a home, but the Mariners house, T-Mobile Park, is home to an awful lot. Home to plays you can't believe.
Right shot, diving catch. Holy smokes, what a play by Crawford.
Home to 6-foot salmon that don't swim, they sprint. And even home to hot dogs that fall from heaven. Hallelujah.
Everybody likes free food just falling from the sky.
Oh, yeah. And it's also home to 47,000 screaming faithful.
We have a sellout crowd. I mean, the folks are up there in the rafters.
T-Mobile Park is our house. Mariners fans make it our home. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
The next Mariners homestand gets started with 3 straight value games. Don't miss out on tickets starting at just $10 against the Padres September 10th and 11th and the Rangers September 12th. Go to Mariners.com to lock in your seats and check out all the matchups and festivities coming to T-Mobile Park during the final stretch of the regular season.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
You know, someone asked me the other day, do you know how many devices the average home has connected to their Wi-Fi network? Well, it's way more than I thought. I actually went home and counted how many connected devices I own, and it is more than a dozen, all to keep me connected to the good stuff. My streaming, my gaming, all my interneting, you name it. And Xfinity knows that the number of devices we have connected to our internet is growing by the year. That's why they engineered their gateways to handle hundreds of connected devices. Hundreds, for real. And now through September 21st, you can get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. Make sure your home Wi-Fi can handle everything you throw at it, and then some. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to switch today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. So make the call to 1-800-XFINITY.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The NFL has a new contract record. The Broncos and cornerback Patrick Surtain agreed to terms on a 4-year extension worth $96 million, making him the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. Seahawks fans will get a close look at Surtain in just a few days when the Broncos take on the Seahawks at Lumen Field for Week 1.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
Now, Mike Golick Jr. Wednesdays during football season with Bump and Stacy.
He's one half of Gojo and Golick on the DraftKings Network. It's Mike Golick Jr. joining us right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. And, of course, every single Wednesday this fall. Mike, we're so happy to have you and so excited. It's finally Week 1. It's like a chill is in the air, like a fall chill. Do you feel it?
Oh, my God, it is manna from heaven. I can only talk so much about what the Dallas Cowboys are doing with Dak Prescott and when the 49ers are going to get everyone signed, which we've now taken care of. So, yes, let's kick off the ball. Let's react to actual things and get away from all this nonsense.
Thank God. I'm so excited. So we here in Seattle, obviously watching a new head coach take over, and we're really excited to talk about this defense. But we also have one of the really intriguing matchups for Week 1. Broncos coming into town with a brand new rookie quarterback. Tell me what you're curious about when it comes to Seahawks-Broncos Week 1 in Seattle.
Yeah, obviously it's a matchup of unknowns, right? The Seattle defense now under Mike McDonald as the head coach. Our first look at that, and real game reps outside of the preseason with that group going up against a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix, who I think for a lot of people was the surprise that they took him that high in Denver in the first round based on what we had heard in the pre-draft process. And went out for the preseason, for the most part, looked in control, didn't look phased, which is what you would expect from a player that started 60-plus games during his time in college football between Auburn and Oregon. But still want to see what it looks like not only on the NFL level, but also against the defense where with this combination of personnel in Seattle and this particular scheme, there's going to be newness on both sides.
Hey, Mike, my co-host mentioned to me that there hasn't been a number one pick at the quarterback spot, correct, that hasn't won their opening game since 2002. What do you think the chances are that Caleb Williams gets it done against the Tennessee Titans?
You know what? Better odds than a lot of those other number one picks have had, because as we've all talked about this offseason, the situation is kind of abnormal in terms of how the Chicago Bears got to this point. That trade with Carolina that netted them a couple of picks inside the top 10. They turned into Caleb and Rome Odunze, one of the now many wide receiver options he has to throw to in that room. And so obviously, listen, there's still going to be some questions about, hey, the offensive line, can it come together and be better than the sum of its parts? Defensively, if they're not as turnover happy the way they were the back half of last year, can they produce in the same way and offer him that support? But I already think the job that Ryan Poles and company have done there in putting talent around him and orienting this in the right direction, and the way we've seen Caleb embrace this role, the professionalism he's already brought in such a short amount of time, I have pretty high hopes against the Tennessee team. I feel like we keep saying, hey, newness is sort of the theme, but for Brian Callahan coming over to that group and trying to take Will Levis to that next level in year 2, it's going to be fascinating. I like that Tennessee has gone all in trying to find out about their quarterback, but I do think right now Chicago overall has a roster that just feels a little bit more coherent. There's a lot of good talent there around a quarterback that I think really has a chance to maybe not hit that C.J. Stroud height from last year that seems like an unrealistic expectation, but he's talented enough and has the weapons to get close.
I don't want to say the NFC West, or excuse me, that the NFC as a whole had a down year last year, but the entire conversation was certainly, oh, look, that conference is wide open, so much young quarterback talent in the AFC where it's going to be so much tougher. It feels like this year in the NFC and the conference as a whole, there might be just a little more talent, some more intriguing storylines overall. I mean, you've got an injection of some new quarterbacks. You've got some teams like the Cardinals that have offensive weapons now that could improve. When you look at the conference, is there a team that was maybe down last year or a team you weren't paying as much attention to that now you're a little more intrigued by?
Yeah, you actually led me right there. The Cardinals, especially offensively to me, I think defensively there still remains to be seen a lot on that side of the ball in terms of personnel development. But offensively, seeing the jump that Trey McBride made last year as their number one option, getting Marvin Harrison Jr. in there. What does Kyler Murray look like now? By all accounts, more locked in than he's ever been. Had a full offseason healthy with Drew Petzing there to get used to. A scheme that actually seemed to marry pretty well with him. Got him doing more under center stuff. Got him doing more of the hard sell play action in that way that we really hadn't seen from Kyler going all the way back to Lincoln Riley's time with him. at Oklahoma. So I am excited to see what that offense can become with Marvin Harrison Jr., who seems to be, by all accounts, living up to the billing we've had for him basically since he stepped on campus at Ohio State, to go in and fit in seamlessly and give them a true number one on the outside in that offense in what could be one of the toughest divisions in football in the NFC West this season.
And we're all about a little bit of drama, especially during the offseason. That's what we do, right? We listen to drama, we create drama. And the biggest drama for some guys has to be the situation in Pittsburgh. Sounds like Russell's going to be the guy. How long do you think he's the guy? And do you feel like the future of the Steelers for the next 2 or 3 years is already on the roster, or do you feel like they're going to go elsewhere?
You know what? I don't necessarily think they're boxed into a future beyond where exactly they are this year right now. With Russ, I don't think the leash is overly long, and I think they've left the door open for some mixing and matching, right? Justin Fields offers them something in the run game, especially the way Arthur Smith likes to operate the run game with mobile quarterbacks that we've seen, mostly recently Marcus Mariota when he was the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. They've left themselves some room to use him in certain packages. I think down in the red zone, having a mobile quarterback in this day and age can be worth its weight in gold at times. And so I think we're going to see that combination there, and it's really going to be trial and error. I have to say this, while I don't think either of these guys is the future based on what we've seen so far, I don't think it's going to be worse than the past. What we saw with Matt Canada as the offensive coordinator, with Kenny Pickett, their former first-round pick, I think that disarray is going to give way to something where Arthur Smith as a coordinator is a more proven commodity, and these quarterbacks are guys that we've seen have success at the NFL level. So I do expect improvement from what's been the standard there post-Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh.
I'm just going to be so upset if we don't have burner accounts for offensive coordinators, though. I mean, after the Matt Canada saga, that was my favorite thing about everything that happened. We're talking with Mike Golick Jr. right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, for DraftKings, you ranked your NFL power rankings, and I don't know how many people are going to look at like where the Seahawks are and fundamentally disagree. Like I did a glance and I thought, you know what? Yeah, a lot of this makes sense. Was there a team where, Mike, as you were going through placing everything, you thought, okay, I am most open to being completely wrong about these guys?
Yeah, I think for me, it's probably looking down. I'd like to. God, it was so tough. The bottom five for me was as tough as anything that I was doing. Between, especially at the bottom, the New York Giants, the Panthers at the bottom. Like, I understand there could be some volatility if Daniel Jones pops off in a way we haven't seen, but I didn't trust the offensive line as much. The one that, honestly, I would like to be wrong on, and I thought based off this offseason, though, would be the Colts down at 24. Early in the offseason, they were a lot of people's darling pick for, hey, Anthony Richardson coming back off injury, dark horse Heisman candidate. Offensive line looked better last year. Defense picks up Laiatu Latu for a front four that had been pretty good for a lot of last season. And I think going through the preseason, it kind of allowed us to manage expectations a little bit more. What we saw with Anthony Richardson in the limited samples we got in the preseason was a quarterback that looked like, hopefully, if he stays healthy, is going to go through some ups and downs as he grows into a passer who just needs reps. But there's no denying he's incredibly talented. He's not as raw of a passer as people wanted to make him out to be coming out of Florida. And he's got a group around him that, hey, if you can get Josh Downs back healthy consistently this season based on the connection we heard they were forming, maybe that could be a team that outside of the Houston Texans in the AFC South starts to challenge for something in that division and maybe can make some sort of a playoff push.
Hey, Mike, I don't know, you probably have seen, right? You saw some fights in college, and there's some fights that get violent. You're like, somebody's going to get hurt. You got to break that up, man. And there's some fights where you're like, no one's going to get hurt. Like, what's the division where you see just teams aren't that great, and they're just going to keep fighting each other? No one's really going to walk away bloody, but it should be an entertaining fight nonetheless.
I mean, which of the Souths do you want to talk about? Probably the NFC South, right? I mean, you're looking at that one, and it's like, someone has to win this. And I don't want to disrespect the Buccaneers because we saw what happened when people left them for dead last season and Baker Mayfield and the veterans on that roster, some of which had that Super Bowl run with Tom Brady, got a hold of that and said, all right, hey, we'll show you guys, and promptly won the NFC South, got to the playoffs and did what they did. But overall, I just look at that division where, hey, we're heaping a bunch of expectations on the Falcons with Kirk Cousins coming back there. Feels like a recipe to get let down knowing the history of that organization. The reclamation project that's going on with Dave Canales in Carolina, trying to see if they can get Bryce Young back on board, a Saints team that just really underwhelms in terms of what we expect, especially out of that offense and the excitement there. And so I do think that's a division where, there's a chance because the scheduling, you look at the strength of schedule for most of those teams, very manageable throughout the course of the season. Some veteran quarterbacks in there like Derek Carr, but ultimately not a division that if I'm a team that gets them as a draw in the playoff, I feel overly threatened by.
Hey, I wanted to jump back to Seattle, though, Mike. Ultimately, this is going to be kind of a philosophical conversation. So we obviously saw Russell Wilson here for 10 years, and that kind of followed the recipe for how most teams would want to ideally build their quarterback position. You draft someone on the cheap, he ends up being great, and then you give them some contracts until that relationship somehow ends. In Seattle's case, it was via trade. But that was 10 years of quarterback stability. We're now looking at a quarterback in Geno Smith who I think is a little underrated in general, but kind of pushes back against that narrative. He's older. He came here as a free agent after having been a backup. And I found, Mike, that while I don't know if he can make Seattle a Super Bowl team, he and some other guys have kind of changed my perception of like what a successful quarterback can look like. Do you find that your perception of how you find that guy, where you find that guy, or what he looks like has changed over time?
I think so, and I think one thing we've done a better general job of as an NFL watching public, both in the media and fan groups, is understanding and realizing how much more important at times the environment around the organization is than just the player we pop in there overall. We see it certainly most heightened with rookie quarterbacks coming into these teams where for years it was, hey, you're the number one overall pick. You're supposed to come in and bootstrap this entire organization and lift them up. And when guys like Matthew Stafford don't get that done in Detroit and then have to go to Los Angeles, we slander them and say, well, why weren't you able to do this? Because every once in a while, a Joe Burrow pops off and does that, or C.J. Stroud pops off and does that last year, forgetting that in both of those cases, there are things about the environment that were far more conducive to the quarterback than what, say, like Bryce Young went through last year. And so adopting that same sort of philosophy to a guy like Geno Smith, who for years had to toil in a Jets organization that's crushed more careers and quarterbacks than we can count right now, and then all of a sudden gets into a better environment now. And by the way, this year, walking into the environment with Ryan Grubb where, hey, maybe it was a step back in 23 after what we saw when, the haters wrote him off and he didn't write back in 22, I think is walking into another really perfect situation with this offense's marriage of talent and the coordinator's play calling style. But yeah, I do think Geno Smith, among others, has made me a little bit more cognizant of, all right, well, let's look at what a guy can be in the right circumstances and maybe not expect that everyone is going to be those top five talents like Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow or Josh Allen that can do so much of this by themselves, it seems.
The Chiefs have a chance to do something that's never been done before, and obviously if the Seahawks don't get it done, I don't mind seeing it go down. What do you think the chances are that the Chiefs hit that three-peat and Mahomes continues to grow his legend?
Yeah, you know what? You guys tell me if you feel the same way. Like, it almost feels too good to be true right now because this team that won last year with an offense that was the lesser of what we've seen in the Mahomes era goes out and adds Hollywood Brown, goes out and adds Xavier Worthy out of Texas, gets the speed back that hadn't been there since Tyreek Hill left town, and the offense kind of changed shape as defenses started to play them a lot differently. And now I'm looking and going, all right, they got a little bit of stability. The defense still has a bunch of badasses on that side of the ball. And by all accounts in training camp, Mahomes has just been letting that thing fly deep, trying to get Xavier Worthy and those guys up to speed, pun fully intended. And so if that layer of the offense comes back this season, they seem borderline unstoppable again because Mahomes was the first of that weapons-grade group of quarterbacks to really start taking what defenses gave him and throttling down in a way that's difficult for a guy that talented to do. So I think they have a really good chance of pulling that off better than anyone should in modern football, where parity is supposed to be the way that this league is structured, and yet to the credit of everyone there between Brett Veach and Andy Reid and certainly Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones as the pillars of this team, they've found a way to be the most malleable roster in sports who spends the first quarter or so of the season retooling, figuring out what their new pieces look like and do best, and then going out there and executing when it's time in the postseason.
All right. I hope you have NFL's Week 1 schedule in front of you, or I'm sure you have many of these games kind of memorized already. I'm going to have you pick one. So we're going to have you on next Wednesday as obviously our weekly guest, and we're going to ask you a bit about what you thought from Week 1, including obviously the Seahawks and Broncos. Outside of Seattle and Denver, which Week 1 matchup are you most excited for, Mike?
Oh, I mean, listen, come on. I wouldn't be like a sports talk radio junkie if I didn't look at Dallas at Cleveland, right? Tom Brady's calling the game. Dak Prescott might be walking into a season where we could be watching a franchise quarterback on the verge of unrestricted free agency, and he's going to have to try and do that with a couple rookies on his offensive line against the best defense in the NFL and the Cleveland Browns, who are also trying to see, hey, what are we going to get out of our quarterback in Deshaun Watson that we paid $230 million? So either way, someone's leaving with anxiety. It's the NFL version of what we had in college when Miami and Florida played. Someone's going to leave feeling really bad about themselves after this weekend, and I'm excited to see who that is. And internally, Myles Garrett against Tyler Guyton, their really talented rookie left tackle in Dallas, is going to be a fun matchup to watch. I think Tyler's going to take his lumps because obviously Myles Garrett's the defending reigning defensive player of the year. But I think it's going to be an interesting starting point to go back to for a guy that already seems like he's next in line to be one of the great Dallas first-round offensive line picks.
He is Mike Golick Jr., one half of Gojo and Golick. You can hear him on DraftKings. Mike, this is going to be so fun. We cannot wait to have you on every single Wednesday to ask you about these games. Week one's already here, man. It's going to be great. Thank you again for joining us.
Thanks, Mike.
So excited. Happy week one, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory. Going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, what's a narrative you see on the text line that will die this year if the Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl?
You know what's so perfect about this?
What's that?
I wrote that question last night, and then while I was doing Get Off My Lawn, someone wrote in something that fits perfectly with this.
It fell right into your trap.
Right into the trap. They said, well, when's the last time a team that had a top 5 paid receiver win a Super Bowl? All right, no, they haven't, right? But there was a time when people thought that you couldn't win with a quarterback making 20% of your cap, and we saw that with Patrick Mahomes. So the contenders in the NFC, for me, at least this is my opinion, I got the Niners, the Lions, Philly, Cowboys, legit contenders. Guess what they all have on their team? Receivers making $30+ million. Guys in the top 5 to 6 when it comes to getting paid. On the AFC side, these are my contenders. Got the Chiefs, Miami, Baltimore, and the Bengals. Now, I've already excluded the Chiefs, right? They don't have a receiver getting paid that much, but they do have a quarterback getting 20% of their cap. You go to Miami, Miami's got 2 of those. You got Tyreek Hill and Waddle. You go to Baltimore, they don't have that, but they do have a quarterback that's getting paid about 20% of their salary cap. And with the Bengals, once they sign Jamar Chase, you'll have another receiver making $30 million. I say that just to say, just because you ain't seeing it don't mean it's not going to happen. It's going to happen. We have such a short time of judging these receivers and these crazy contracts. It only started happening like 4 years ago. So people say, well, you can't win with a receiver getting paid X amount of dollars. These teams aren't winning without those receivers who are getting paid X amount of dollars. So just sit back and relax. It's going to happen. Just a few years ago, you thought it couldn't be done with a quarterback getting 20%. We saw that with the Chiefs, and if they don't win it on the AFC side, it's going to be Baltimore. They have it as well. The Bengals have it, and Miami has it. So those 2 narratives are done this year. They've been done with the quarterbacks. They'll be done with the receivers. It's just a matter of time. You sound like an old head.
I just like people saying you're a wide receiver and you can't be objective, as though you're not like. It's just you're just looking at numbers.
Yeah, I'm just giving you the facts, guys.
I don't know. Second down. What's a key matchup this week when the Seahawks take on the Broncos?
Man, DK Metcalf and Surtain. I cannot wait to see that matchup, man. Surtain just got paid. He's the highest paid corner of all time. He is 6'2", 202 pounds. And now you have DK Metcalf, a big boy himself. That's going to be like a rumble in the jungle. That is going to be UFC number whatever they're on, main event type stuff. Now, he's going to see other receivers. He'll line up on Tyler Lockett if he's on the left side and JSN as well. But when those two line up, man, get your popcorn. It's going to be great. 2 of the best in the game to go after it. I want to see the technique. I want to see the physicality. Are they going to challenge Patrick when DK is over there? It's just going to be a fun matchup, man. I always pick 1 or 2 matchups to watch in a game. That's one of them.
Curtis and I are really offended that you're overlooking another cornerback for the Broncos that
Riley
is going to be a really
what's his
interesting
name?
matchup. Riley Moss.
Riley Moss. My
so
bad,
named
Riley.
because he mosses wide receivers.
Yeah, he turns the tables on them.
Yeah. Why are we talking about Riley Moss? Because he'll be the only white starting cornerback in
My
the
guy
NFL
Riley.
week 1.
I'm gonna peep that too. I'm gonna peep Riley.
Let us get Riley, okay?
All right, we got you.
Come on. We claim him. Third down. Of course we claim him. His name is Riley. Third down. Who has an opportunity to wow the football world once again in week 1 of the NFL season?
It's Tom Brady. He's making his debut. He's calling the Cowboys and the Browns game. You guys remember when Tony Romo hit the scene and he was calling out plays before they happened? He recognized down distance formation. And it kind of went away because when he entered the league, he was so close to the game. He was just in the prep room getting ready for opponents that he felt the game differently. Now it's changed a bit. Tom Brady has an opportunity to do that. He was just in the game, 2 years ago? He's connected. So I'm interested. Like, is he going to be funny? Is he going to be serious? What stories is he going to tell? I think him calling the Browns game is perfect, man. Everyone's going to watch the Cowboys play. They're on prime time every single week. Why not have Tom Brady do his thing? I'm excited for him, and I really think that he's going to be great at this. So let's see what his first impression looks like, and let's see if he's going to be the next great color call. And maybe, he definitely is calling the Super Bowl this year. So let's get him ready.
It's like I almost want him to be bad just because I hate that someone could be that good at everything they do, but I think he's going to be great.
I think he will.
It just, it's the worst. Stop being great at everything. Fourth down. What's an approach the Bengals should take if Jamar signs this week?
This is a tough one, man, because he hasn't practiced with the team. It's not like he doesn't know the playbook or he's not going to be prepared, but to play in a football game, you need some contact. You need some live action start and stop type deals. I wouldn't let him play this week. I'd say, look, sit this one out. Let's get you ready for next week's opponent because you want him for the long run. And what happens when you're not ready, you're not physically ready to go, injuries happen. This is football. Guys get hurt all the time. You can't prevent it, but you can get your body ready to go. I just don't think that his body will be completely prepared for a football game at this point. Now, I understand why they would put him in the game because he's one of the best receivers in the game, and you want to give Joe Burrow and those guys a chance to succeed. But if I am the Cincinnati Bengals, I'm not touching it, man. It's freaking Wednesday. You're going to practice for 2 days and get after it. You can beat the New England Patriots without Jamar Chase. T. Higgins is good enough. Joe Burrow is going to be good enough. You will be fine. So if I'm the Bengals, man, I'm telling Jamar Chase, let's get this deal done, and then you just sit this one out.
Yeah.
Let's get you ready next week when you go to Kansas City and play the Chiefs.
You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Another unforeseen wrinkle thrown into the NFL's game in Brazil on Friday. Coming your way next.
Hawks live.
Tomorrow night from 7 to 9.
Live from Bellevue Square Center Court. Join former Seahawks Michael Bumpus and Paul Moyer as they go deep on the Hawks with player interviews and opponents analysis.
And we look like offensively the team that we thought we were.
How do we win a football game? That's what makes you a great quarterback.
Every Thursday night throughout the Hawks season.
Geno Smith has himself a day.
Presented by the Dining District of the Bellevue Collection.
On Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien.
It's one thing falling in love with a house, picturing yourself moving in and calling it home, and quite another navigating the world of price negotiating, mortgage lenders, and finding the budget that works best for you. An agent who's a Realtor can make understanding that world easier. Realtors have the expertise, access to proprietary data, and tools to help you get from imagining living somewhere to actually doing it. That's the kind of help we can provide, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
At the UPS Store, we understand the importance of a first impression. That's why we're here to help you put your best foot forward and be unstoppable with our printing services. With high-quality paper stock options, banners, business cards, menus, and more, we make sure your small business stands out and your message reaches the masses. After all, we're the one-stop Prints That Pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today and get your print on.
Did you know about the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program? You can get an $80 benefit card to spend at local farmers markets. Use it to buy seasonal fruits, vegetables, and honey. Just bring your new SFMNP card with you when you shop. When you make a purchase, the grower will scan your card. Then you'll confirm the purchase with your PIN.
You're all set. Enjoy those tomatoes.
Thank you, I will. Find participating markets, local contacts, and more info at seniorfmnp.com. That's seniorfmnp.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Hawks Live.
Tomorrow night from 7 to 9.
Live from Bellevue Square Center Court.
Geno Smith has himself a day.
Presented by the Dining District of the Bellevue Collection.
On Seattle Sports.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is the timeline on Bump and Stacy. I'm going to remind you guys before I jump into our first story that because we're turning into the huddle at noon, we're doing What I Need to Know coming up next. So get your questions in to the Mac and Jack's text line. Any question, text it now. 866-979-3776. We're going to get started with Nate Burleson. I'm going to say borrowed a take from Bump. I'm going to say Bump started it. You were talking about Taylor Swift in Get Off My Lawn today. And Nate Burleson took a page from your book and cut number 7 had a message for Taylor Swift haters.
And for all you guys that are in your feelings,
take several seats.
Yeah,
get the Nate cam.
Get out of your feelings. Oh, you upset? You're a widow mad because Taylor Swift is in the promo. Who cares?
Yes.
Okay?
Nobody, Nate.
Wipe the drool off your tank top and put some pants on and get out your mama's basement.
Preach, Nate, preach.
Oh.
Keep
I don't
going.
understand what the big deal is. All right, every other sport can show celebrities at their games. We show Taylor Swift.
No problem.
You get in your feels.
Yes.
And get out of your feelings, man, and watch the game.
Now, Bump, you made a really good point earlier today when you were talking about it. I also really like Nate Burleson's point about, like, every other sport shows celebrity at the games. Literally, who gets mad at basketball games when they show Jack Nicholson on the sideline or Kim Kardashian on the sideline at a Lakers game or literally any other celebrity? Like NFL, why are you so sensitive? Why, genuinely, if you are an NFL fan that gets actually mad when you see Taylor Swift, why? What are you actually hurt by in your life that's making you so upset about that? That's wild.
Let me tell you. Because I was that guy for like a week.
Okay.
I had to look myself in the mirror and be like, why is this bothering you? Because I am a Laker fan. You see Beyonce, Jack, Nipsey
everywhere.
When he was alive. Like, they always zoom in on the celebrities on the sideline. And you know what I think it was? It was because just I don't fancy her music. So I wasn't interested. And then I had to look in the mirror and say, all right, well, it's just not for you. And it's doing nothing to hurt the game at all. It's doing nothing to hurt Travis Kelce. If anything, she might be helping him. You know, us fellas, we change a little bit once we settle down and we find that one and we get locked in on something else. And it didn't hurt the Chiefs at all. They won the Super Bowl. So that's why I woke up this morning before Nate Burleson and jotted my notes down. I go, you know what, this year, I'm just not even going to give that any negative energy. It's all positive vibes.
I love a positive vibe approach. I also love the approach of not everything is made for you. Like Bump, I am a consumer of sports radio. I also understand that sports radio and sports products are, for the most part, predominantly geared towards men. That doesn't mean that women aren't a target audience much of the time. But do you think I get upset when I hear an ED commercial? Like, do you think when I see a commercial for hair loss for men on my television, I get mad and think, why is this on my TV? Why am I seeing that? Do you think that when sports writers go off about how much they love Pearl Jam, that I stop and make everyone pause and say, please talk about the artists that I care about?
Right.
Or do I just shut up?
You know,
and do I just ignore it and say, that conversation wasn't meant for me?
And that's a good way to do it because, honestly, I feel attacked when I hear those commercials. Because I know they're trying to talk to me, you know? Like, I feel attacked. So, no, it's everything's not for you, and that's fine. Taylor Swift ain't hurting nobody. She's just making a whole lot of money.
Yeah, the 509. It's annoying because they're showing her stupid face after every single play Kelsey pulls off. Well, yeah, I kind of want to know. Look, I'm going to be honest. I'm probably their target demo here. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, but I want to see the wives, girlfriends, the moms, the parents. Anytime they show a player making his MLB debut and he hits a home run, I want to see the parents. I want to see the parents and their reaction to it.
How many times did they show Giselle when Tom Brady was married?
Exactly.
They showed her all the time.
Exactly. Guess what? He is currently dating Travis Kelce, one of the most famous women in the world. This person said, it's less that they show her and more of the amount of time she's on the screen. Stop tainting my Sundays, all caps. I'm a man, I'm 40. Yeah, I just I don't know. There's a weird amount of hate towards her, and I find that it is probably not at all related to you actually being mad about Taylor Swift and that you have other issues you need to figure out. Yeah. That's my take on people.
That's whatever. Do your thing, Taylor.
Yeah, just let her do her thing. Let's see. Next up, another unforeseen wrinkle thrown into the NFL's plan in Brazil for Friday. The Brazilian government has banned X/Twitter from the country, so football media in attendance won't be able to tweet any updates while in Brazil. That feels counterintuitive to how I would want to get updates about a football game.
You got to go to the original Twitter. Facebook post.
MySpace?
You got to go back and say, look, all right, we're going back. I'm going to post something on my Facebook wall and let y'all know what's going on. That's interesting. That is going to change viewership and how we get some information and take it back to the old days. You better watch it and take some notes then and text your friends about what's going on. It's their country. They do what they want to do.
Someone said, why are you so sensitive about people criticizing Taylor Swift? Because we're responding to Nate Burleson's take about people criticizing Taylor. And and guess what? If you aren't getting up in arms about Taylor, it's probably not about you. Once again, we're learning lessons about how this may not be about you. Let's see. Someone said turn it into a drinking game. I think that's a way more fun way to embrace Taylor Swift on your screen. That's a great way to embrace it. Next up, White Sox postgame analyst Ozzie Guillen is not a fan of umpire Hunter Wendelstedt, and he's made that clear after Wendelstedt's ejected Chicago's manager Grady Sizemore on Tuesday, cut number 8.
Hunter Wendelstedt, he's the home plate umpire.
I wish I'd punch her in the face.
Why? Oh, do you have a history with him?
He's the first guy kicked me out of the game in the big league.
He was?
With no reason.
Hunter Wendelstedt?
Yes, he come out there, and I was playing third baseman, and his dad, he was a legend. Legend.
Yeah.
Then I say, you know what? You know the people your dad is behind.
Uh-oh.
I told him that.
You're not a
you have to respect. Because he kicked me out running out of the field. Like, okay, I went out to second base, and he kicked me out of the game. Like, wait a minute. You know who I am?
Oh.
Don't leave. No, he said, don't leave with your daddy's name. I spent more years in the big league as you.
Ozzie Guillen is the most chaotic part of any pre or post game show I've ever heard in my life.
He is. And he might be 100% with his story, but we've listened to Ozzie for years now. There has to be something else behind him getting kicked out. It's not like he looked at him and said, you're out of there. Ozzie might have said something to him. Ozzie's like me. He just forgets like bad things sometimes. So I'm just going to erase that from my memory. I'm going to forget what I did and just remember that this guy kicked me out. But he is a heck of a storyteller. I would sit and listen to him every day, talk about whatever he wants to talk about because it's going to be full of just so much character and excitement. But, yeah, Ozzie, keep doing your thing. I enjoy it, actually.
Someone said, have we read the news today? There was a TikTok video. Again, it's not reading the news. This is not news. There was a TikTok video, conspiracy theory. Curtis, did you see this also? That Travis and Taylor have a contract, that they're going to have a breakup on September 28th, and the whole thing is PR.
Wow.
Now, I could have, if you would have told me a year ago this is PR, I would have been like, obviously. It doesn't bother me. But I would just like to say that is a juicy rumor that I love as a consumer
Why that date?
Of celebrity. I don't know. That I love as a consumer of celebrity news, but I would not clarify it under, have you read the news today? It's a TikTok video of a conspiracy theory, but we'll see what happens.
I love a good conspiracy theory.
I love a conspiracy
theory. I really
theory.
do. So you got me. I'm going to mark it in my calendar right now.
September
28th.
Ooh.
Let's see.
What if it does happen?
Then
they can't have it on September 28th anymore. Now that the contract is out, they can, because then everyone will know it just confirms that the whole thing is PR.
It just builds the anticipation, and people watch even more because on the 28th they're going to be locked into whatever they're doing.
I wonder if there's like a Chiefs game that's really important around the 28th. I don't know. Now I need to know where this came from.
We got questions. We need answers.
I know, exactly. Last one here. Bump, this is especially relevant for you. Golf fans, you have something to look forward to in December. The PGA Tour's Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler will face Live Tour's Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka in an exhibition in Las Vegas.
Here's the real question. Are the Live guys going to be wearing shorts? And are the PGA guys going to be wearing pants? Are they going to uphold each other's standards when it comes to the dress code? No, that should be great. You have to lean into this. It's a rivalry. Golf hasn't had, like, really big rivalries in a while. Like, you have the Ryder Cup every 2 years, U.S. versus Europe. Any chance you can just set up a match to where us golf junkies will sit there and watch for 4 to 5 hours, we will be locked in. I will be there with a beer in my hand and a cigar on my porch watching this thing go down.
Would this be filed under your dream golf matchup if you were to have like pairs, like two golfers? It doesn't even have to be, and you don't have to make it from separate tours. Like, it doesn't have to fit into a format. Like, if you were to just pick 4 golfers.
So it's Rory and Scottie versus DeChambeau and who else?
Koepka.
And Koepka? Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't think it gets any better than that. I mean, throw Tiger in there, but Tiger ain't been playing too hot as of late, so it wouldn't be too competitive. But, only other thing I would do is just put Tiger in the mix.
Okay, flipping it up now and adding another wrinkle. If you had to choose 2 non-golfer athletes to join in and you made money based on how good they did, which two non-golfer athletes would you choose? Where you're like, I think they could not hang with pros by any means, but like they could do some damage.
Michael Jordan.
Okay.
He plays a lot of golf. And then I'd probably go Tony Romo because I hear he's like a 1 or 2 handicap.
Isn't Steph Curry pretty good?
Yeah, Steph's pretty good too.
All right, what I need to know coming your way next. Get your questions in now to the Mac and Jack's text line, 866-979-3776. Again, 866-979-3776.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
The Daniel Jeremiah Show every Wednesday with us here at 8:30.
I'm all in on McDonald in terms of leadership, in-game intelligence, the ability to relate to guys, the cutting-edge scheme that everybody is copying around the league as well as in college football. So I'm all in on him. Gino, I'm excited for him. And anytime you have a new coordinator, Gino is a down-the-field passer, Grubbs is a down-the-field coordinator. It appears as if it's going to be a good marriage.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and saute. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up, the food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
You know, someone asked me the other day, do you know how many devices the average home has connected to their Wi-Fi network? Well, it's way more than I thought. I actually went home and counted how many connected devices I own, and it is more than a dozen, all to keep me connected to the good stuff. My streaming, my gaming, all my interneting, you name it. And Xfinity knows that the number of devices we have connected to our internet is growing by the year. That's why they engineered their gateways to handle hundreds of connected devices. Hundreds, for real. And now through September 21st, you can get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. Make sure your home Wi-Fi can handle everything you throw at it and then some. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to switch today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra after promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. So make the call to 1-800-XFINITY.
Bring your whole crew to the game with the Mariners Suite at T-Mobile Park. Whether you're planning a special birthday party for friends and family or a company outing for up to 400 coworkers, there's no better spot for an unforgettable experience. Enjoy the suite life with premium catering, VIP parking, private Skybridge entry, and more. Plus, season ticket members get 15% off. Reserve your suite today at mariners.com/suites.
And the pitch up the middle, JP! Wow! What a play! Game over!
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob.
Washington's own Joel McHale is live at Muckleshoot Event Center October 3rd. Experience Joel's hilarious trademark snark from hit shows like Animal Control and Community, live on stage October 3rd. Get tickets right now at muckleshootcasino.com.
Muckleshoot. If you're injured in the state of Washington, here's what matters. Who represents you matters. The experience of their staff matters. Their investigation team and track record of success matters. Davis Law Group was founded in Seattle and has been winning cases for more than 30 years. We know Washington State, we know our courts, and we know how to deliver the highest level of client satisfaction. And that's what matters.
Hey, Brock Heward here, and I have had my share of sports injuries, and I know a little bit about pain. Well, that's what football will do to you from head to toe. But you don't have to play professional sports to know what I'm talking about. Painful joints from arthritis can affect anyone and make it hard to do pretty much anything. Well, that's where my friend, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine comes into play. He has seen so many patients through the years suffering from chronic joint pain caused by arthritis. So don't let pain stop you from your quality of life. Don't let pain stop you from enjoying life. Consider Dr. Nelson the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. That's right, your own stem cells and platelet-rich plasma to harness your own body's healing potential. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, get your questions in for What I Need to Know. 866-979-3776. Again, 866-979-3776. Let's see. I mentioned a conspiracy theory about Travis and Taylor. 206 says, what's the craziest conspiracy theory you believe or heard other people believe?
Sasquatch. Is that a conspiracy theory?
It is a conspiracy theory because it's not true. And you actually believe in Sasquatch. Do you just say that to mess with me, or do you really believe that he could be out there?
He's out there.
Okay.
To think that we know everything. Us humans, we know everything. We've explored every part of this beautiful earth we live on. Negative.
Yeah, I don't believe in Sasquatch or Bigfoot. No offense if he's listening. He's not out there.
He's out there. Prove it.
I feel like people, like, it's one thing if you're like, there's something in the bottom of the ocean that we haven't explored because we haven't explored the depths of the ocean. I feel like we've pretty much got a pretty good picture of, like,
we haven't explored every part of the forest.
I just think we've got a vibe. Okay. I'll leave it. Someone said Squatch doesn't believe in you, Stacy.
Facts.
Fair. That's fair.
Sasquatch knocked over your grill, Stacy.
Most Michael Jordan conspiracy theories. Primarily with why he was suspended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe in that one.
I do.
Love Jordan. Conspiracy theories. Classic sports conspiracy theories. I buy into most of those. They're all just so good.
Yeah, they are.
Frozen envelope, that kind of thing. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What I need to know. Someone said, what about Steph Curry and golf? Bump?
Oh, yeah. I'd like that. Steph Curry. I've just seen it before. I haven't seen Jordan do like a live event yet.
Yeah. Bump, besides yourself, who do you think is the best Coug football player to ever come out of Wazoo?
The best ever to come out of Wazoo. Man, you got Ruben Mays, who was nice back in the 80s, early 90s. Say what you want. Ryan Leaf got drafted super high.
Yeah.
Drew Bledsoe. Marcus Trufant, number 11 pick overall. The best athlete to ever come out of Wazoo, though, is Klay Thompson, 4 NBA championships.
Let's see. What I need to know. What are your thoughts on Malik Neighbors?
I think that he is a great receiver that will not reach his potential as long as Danny Dimes is throwing him the ball.
Yeah, I thought about drafting him late in fantasy and then thought, I just don't know. How can I trust that Daniel Jones, specifically behind that offensive line, because it's not that Daniel Jones himself is a bad quarterback on a great team. It's that offense is bad and deeply flawed. Like, they are not effective. They cannot run the ball. They cannot protect their quarterback, and their quarterback cannot make great decisions in a timely way.
That offense is just not very good.
Overall, though, I'm pretty high on Malik Neighbors, and I think that he could have a great career if they figure that out. He seems very talented.
Yeah, he's a baller, but he can't block and throw the ball to himself.
What I need to know, do you believe in UFOs?
Yep.
Yeah. I think you can't say you can't believe in aliens.
Yeah, you can. People say it all the time.
I mean, sure, but
You say what you want.
you can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. Stacy, what's your parents' end game with the raccoons? I don't know. I wish I knew. Let's see. What I need to know. Who's the odds-on favorite for the 12th man flag raising week 1?
I don't know. And when I get that information, I can't share it with you. It's a secret.
I will let you guys know that Bump does find out before a lot of people. And I always want that information, but I can never get it. What are the odds Caleb Williams is a bust, says another listener.
Man, I don't think he'll be a bust. I think there's a chance that his first year with the Bears is rough, even though he has a whole bunch of talent around him. He's just a rookie quarterback. But I don't think he'll be a bust at all. And what is a bust, too? Remember we talked about if he had Russell Wilson's career, would that be a bust? I say no. You win a Super Bowl and you have, 9 Pro Bowl appearances? Pro Bowl appearances.
Well, that's the thing. If he throws for 4,000 yards in year 2, let's say, that's more than any other Bears quarterback has ever thrown for. Does it make him a bust? I don't know, because the idea is also that he save a franchise. So it's this impossible thing. It's kind of like, it's a horrible comparison, but like Bryce Harper, people were like, oh, did Bryce Harper not meet expectations? What do you mean? If the expectation is that not only he be the best baseball player ever, but that he be perfect and never regress and never struggle, then yeah, sure, he didn't meet expectations. It's when you set this impossibly high bar, no one's going to meet it. Literally no one. I mean, Patrick Mahomes lost a Super Bowl.
No one thought Pat Mahomes would be Pat Mahomes, though. Either.
Exactly. I almost feel for Caleb because he's with an organization that's looking at him as being the savior, as opposed to J.J. McCarthy with Minnesota. They're like, well, he's not playing this year, but it would have been like, wow, cool if he works out. That's really, really great. We weren't necessarily expecting him to either fall to us, since the thought was the Giants could take him, but also they have a contingency plan. I don't know. It's just, I feel for him. He's getting millions. He's fine. What I need to know, during your own football fantasy draft, is there a player you wish you could have taken or that you reached on?
Player I wish I could have taken. I wish I had Saquon Barkley, man. I really think he's going to tear it up this year. A player that I reached on, Blake Corum. I don't know how much time he's going to get, but I believe in the kid.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm worried I reached on Josh Allen, who I really wanted because I wasn't going to get any good running backs, and I thought I'd be able to just double up on fantasy points. I should have just gotten a running back. Like, I should have stocked up. I'm real thin there because I drafted Josh Allen way too early. Let's see what I need to know. Your favorite school subject. They said first day of school out here in Everett. What's your favorite school subject?
Mine was history. Love history.
I loved history and English classes. Let's see. Did not like PE. No, thank you.
Love PE. Aced it every year.
Nope. Someone said I have Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels on my fantasy team. Who would you start?
Those
week
are your
1?
2, huh?
It's an interesting choice.
That is interesting.
Who would you start week 1? Bears are taking on...
I mean, Caleb Williams has way better weapons to throw to.
Yeah, and Jaden Daniels is playing behind a worse offensive line. I'd start Caleb as regularly, and then if Caleb falls off, then throw Jaden in, but I'd lean on Caleb. Let's see what I need to know. Isaac says I reached on Rome Odunze. I don't know, man.
It depends on when you drafted him.
Yeah.
When you draft him. I mean, if you drafted him in the first 3
then yes.
rounds, yeah, you definitely reached.
Is Jordan Love an MVP candidate?
Preseason, yeah. He's in the top. I mean, he's not like front runner. He's not top 3 or 4, but he might be 5, 6.
What would Jordan Love need to do to be MVP?
Win his division, 30-plus touchdowns, 10 less interceptions, 4,500 yards.
Yeah. That's tough to ask for with such a young team with so much unproven talent. You think the Packers have a chance to knock Detroit off?
Yep.
Interesting.
That division's going to be tough.
All right, you guys, that will do it for us. We're not going anywhere, though. Instead, we're transitioning to the huddle. Dave Wyman is going to join us. We're going to kick things off by hearing from Mike McDonald. His first weekly press conference is coming your way in just a few minutes. We're going to sit down for an interview with Rick Woolen. You're going to hear from DK Metcalf, and then we're going to get an opponent preview for Week 1, Seahawks versus Broncos. It's all coming your way next.
It's a new era for the Seahawks.
Oh, my word, what a catch! What a catch by JSN!
I always expect us to go out and play hard and play physical and be clean.
I would think he's going to come in and be pretty disciplined about this is what we're doing, man.
A new season kicks off September 8th when the Hawks host the Broncos at Lumen Field.
Touchdown, Seahawks! The Seahawks defense, they awaken the crowd at Lumen Field.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks.
Uh-oh. Looks like your plumbing just threw a Hail Mary into the wrong end zone. But don't worry, folks. Flowhawks Plumbing and Septic is here to intercept the mess. From busted pipes to clogged drains, we've got the plays that'll turn your plumbing fumble into a winning touchdown. Why risk a penalty? Call Flowhawks, the hometown heroes who will blitz that plumbing problem before it costs you the game. Because when your pipes are on the line, we bring our A game. Talk to the Hawk. 1-800-FLOWHAWK. That's 1-800-FLOHAWK.
You gotta love baseball season. But when it comes to your windows, you don't want any curveballs. Rick Riz here, reminding you to trust your clubhouse with locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Experience the difference with high-quality products, expert installation, and top-notch customer service. It's always a home run with Pella. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Just go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft, and we've got an offer you're not going to want to wait for. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves. Whatever you like, we'll help you create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, and expense than a tear-out. Stop waiting. We're having a trade-in sale. You'll save $30 per door and drawer front off the cost of your new kitchen. Count them up and see how much you'll save. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Call today and let one of our pros come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
You know, being out of camp this time of year, you get to see some absolute physical specimens. Guys that have trained all summer to be in the best shape of their life. Now, most of us don't have that kind of time, energy, resources, or genetics to look like some of those guys, but we can certainly look our very best with a little help from Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It's Mike Salk here, and I used that program last year to lose 35 pounds. That's right, lost 35 pounds, and it only took me 8 weeks to do it. Guess what? It wasn't that hard. It wasn't that painful either. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic devised a plan that was right for me. I ate real food that you buy at the grocery store. I lost weight, and I looked and felt my very best. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss. So schedule a free, no-obligation consultation right now by going to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Just see if it's right for you. 425-588-0080 is the number, or eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Again, 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
Presented by
Hunt Services and Pacific Lamp and Supply.
Let's go in!
The Huddle.
This is The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, and Stacey Ross. We are back for another season. Week 1 just around the corner. Seahawks set to take on the Denver Broncos. We are going to hear a little bit from Mike McDonald today. Going to sit down with Reek Wolin. Going to hear from DK Metcalf at the podium. In hour 2, we're going to get an opponent preview here from Wyman's favorite person, Steve Rabel, and also wrap up with some final thoughts, predictions, and a look ahead with John Boyle. Let's start, though, with
How do you know Rabes is Wyman's favorite person? He's been married for a very long time.
Well, obviously Wyman's favorite person is his wife, but you and Rabes Wyman have like this a real love-hate relationship that I just personally enjoy hearing on the Seahawks broadcast. I'm sure you're very, very excited for the start of the season. You guys are back at it.
Yeah, there's no hatred. There's no hatred
not at all.
at all. No, I described him as annoying.
in a loving way.
He's always there. We talk on the bus ride. We talk on the plane ride. And this started in 1989, by the way. When I was a player, we flew back from Cincinnati, and Rabes was on the plane. I had no idea what he did. Like, oh, the games are on radio? I didn't know that. So anyway, he's just a super nice guy. So we talked the entire way back from Cincinnati. And, haven't stopped. So he's kind of my work wife. Bob's right up there, too. You know? I talk to those people more than I talk to my wife. So.
We are going to be hearing a lot from both of you, obviously, on this call. Bump, I'm actually going to head to you with this one. And then, and Wyman, obviously, back to you. Let's just jump right into our preview for the season. Now, you guys can choose to look at just the Broncos if you want. But in week 1, what better time than just to talk about a new season, the dawn of a brand new coaching tenure with Mike McDonald being here, high expectations for fixes with the defense. Bump, what are you most excited to watch for this Sunday?
I think everyone's going to say defense. When I'm excited, but being an offensive guy, haven't seen a lot of Geno. Saw one great drive where Jason caught the football. He was 4 for 5. DK catches one in the end zone. Didn't get to see Ken Walker. I'm going to go offense, man, because we saw a bit more from the defense as far as guys on the field who you expect to play. But I want to see how Grubb calls a game with Geno. Will he push the ball down the field? How he gets Ken Walker involved? The intricate ways he uses the mesh concept. He loves the mesh concept. The gap scheme related to the RPO. My offensive mind is going to be going. I'm so excited to see what this offense looks like because I feel like they're equipped right now to hit the ground running. I think the defense can, but I think the offense has to.
How much did you think? Because I'm kind of offense too. I feel like we've already seen, like in week 1 or the first preseason game against the Chargers, you saw how the defense is going to be. I mean, and particularly inside, and that's where all the problems were. The inside part of the field, the middle of the field, they run kind of like a matchup zone, and then they attack the line of scrimmage on runs. I mean, I haven't seen that in like 5 years. Yeah. So yeah, but I'm also very curious about the offense to see like how much did they not show, and then maybe more of like a what's their power run game look like? Because, a lot of it was like, they have some really clever plays, like, bringing a receiver in motion and doing the read option with him. And, yeah, but I don't know. I just wanted to see more, like, downhill stuff, and I wonder if that's what we're going to see a little bit more from the offense. But, yeah, to me, that's kind of the bigger mystery. I feel like if you saw preseason defense, you saw already what is going to get better.
Right.
I'm trying to temper some of my own expectations for Mike McDonald. I'm thinking back to the beginning of his time with Baltimore. His first game was solid, and then they really ran into a wall against Miami. And he later talked about, like, it takes a minute. Like, you got to install a new system. You've got to build trust with guys. You've got to get guys to buy into maybe some new language or just to buy into trusting you that you know what you're doing. So even though we look at this season and we go, ooh, rookie quarterback here at home with Denver. Ooh, like going against a bad offensive line, with New England, here are two real opportunities. I'm also open to the idea that this is a team and still a defense that might struggle early. Do you guys think so?
Well, I mean, look, yeah, it's not magic. It's not a magic elixir that you just throw his defense out there and it works every time. Guys are going to get beat. I feel like last year, I used to always say, hey, look, these offensive or defensive coordinators, they're not crazy. They don't just leave gaps open,
right?
But there were gaps left open. And I think it was because of the communication part of it. And I know that everybody gets tired of hearing that. Particularly us, whenever we talk to, defenders last year, the last 3 or 4 years, it was always like, well, you just got to communicate better. But, boy, you see it on the field. I mean, even the guys on the sidelines are making the calls. And so I think everybody, Mike McDonald's a teacher, and all of his coaching staff is the same way. And I love what I've heard from them. I got a chance to talk a lot with Kennedy Polamalu, the running back coach, who we go way back, and just some of the things that they say, it's a little bit more old school than you would think.
Right.
So you still got to win battles, right? You still got to be lower than the other guy. And so I think they do have some of that.
Dave, you said the communication. When we started the show, we were talking about the defensive communication. And I pointed out, they might have been communicating, but not believing in the communicating. Like, not believing this guy's going to be where he's supposed to be and do that. Is that a possibility with that defense last year? It's just the trust with the scheme and the communication in a whole just left gaps open and guys not being where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I think so. I think, once one link of communication breaks down, and then it has like a ripple effect. I mean, how many times did you see Quandre Diggs standing back there with his hands up in the air, like, what the hell just happened?
Yep.
So I feel like that's going to be something different. And then, I think I read an article this morning, and Michael Sean wrote, and it was about Witherspoon being a leader, and he's really emerging as that guy. And I feel like he was the one who was the most vocal out there, and kind of a leader in the way of communicating. So, yeah, it'll be fun to watch some of the individuals, and it's not so much just about the scheme defensively. It's how much better it makes some of these players. One guy I'm really excited about, you probably wouldn't be too surprised. Dodson, the inside backer.
Tyrell Dodson.
He's so fast. That guy can run, man. So, yeah, there's going to be some cool players to watch as well, is my point. And, it's not just, like I said, all about the scheme.
We are having Reek Woolen walk over here right now from a walkthrough. He's going to join us, and we're going to jump into an interview with him right away. So we may interrupt our conversation here before Reek gets here. But, Wyman, I'm going to throw a question your way from a listener. What's your biggest concern against Denver?
Against them specifically? Yeah, I was looking at, their defense wasn't very good last year. So, maybe just underestimating how good they're going to be. I mean, you never know what you're going to get in week one.
Yeah. Reek Woolen joining us right now. You are listening to The Huddle. And Reek, we're really, really happy to have you. Let me just say, this is not going to be a surprise to you because you're going to say, of course, but you've had a very great preseason. You've looked really, really stellar. Did it feel good to get out there and kind of just show that, like, I know who I am and I know what I've got? Like, did you feel satisfied with your preseason?
Yeah, no, I was happy for real, but I was just ready for the season to start, honestly.
I'm sure.
The preseason, I felt like it took a long time, but it went by fast, though. I was just happy that I was out there to be able to get reps and stuff, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so you're one of the guys they trust to kind of lock a guy down, and them putting that kind of faith in you has to kind of build you up a little bit, right? I mean, how good does that feel to know that they just know, hey, Reek's going to be on that guy, he can take him away?
Honestly, it feels amazing just because I know that I'm helping my team out, but also, when you consider yourself one of the best in the game, you got to do the stuff that how can I say that, claims that you are one of those guys. But I just take it as a fun challenge to me, and shoot, it's another step in my career, and I see it as a stepping stone for real because for a whole defensive staff to trust in a guy to take care of an impact play on somebody else's team, especially in the game of football, that's a key thing to do. So, I appreciate their trust in me, and my work has been speaking for itself for them to be able to trust in me.
Rick, you were one of the more interesting players when you got drafted because you look at just your history and how you got to where you are in the position. So then to see the jumps you've made in your technique's been crazy to me. I was watching, I can only get stuff on Instagram when y'all was in Tennessee, and I'm a receiver. And I'm watching this clip with my son, and I go, Reek just ran that route for him. My son's like, what you mean? I go, when a DB is running the route for you, that means he's picking up on all your keys and everything that you're doing. What did you focus on when it comes to technique this offseason to get you where you are right now?
Just trusting my technique, just trying to be more consistent in my technique, just understanding that my abilities as a corner, I know I'm fast, I know I'm tall, I know I can make up a lot of ground. So just being able to just trust being patient and trusting your eyes and stuff like that. Every corner you're probably gonna say eyes and stuff like that, but it's just different whenever you're able to, consistently, focus and lock in with your eyes, especially when you're a cornerback. Just because some plays you might get bored,
right?
Plays may not come your way, so you just got to be able to just lock in and have great focus on with your eyes and technique.
What's Mike McDonald like as a head coach? What feels different?
Honestly, he a great coach, but I feel like what makes it feel much different is that, in the atmosphere, you can just feel that, it's becoming more of like like a real team for real. Like, it's starting to become like a NFL like type atmosphere. I'm not saying it wasn't before, but you just can feel, a difference for real, and a shift of culture. And he's a mastermind for real, and it's just different when you have a coach that understands the players and how the players are playing in certain positions on the field. It's clips of coaches going out there getting reps at the spots the players would be out. Coach would be out of nickel, coach would be out of corner spot, and it's crazy because I ain't never seen that before. Because some people, they just coach a game and coach a game, but it's different when you coach a game and you're able to relate to your players based off the speeds that they are playing at, because you put your coaches and yourself in those positions to work out a scheme and see how it's going to work for your team. So just different things like that, it feels great to have him as a head coach, and I feel like he's going to lead us, to the right direction. And I feel like so far, week one is going to be the step we take as a team, and we're going to see where we at even more.
Tell us about Coach Dirty. Do you pick up on his accent? Is it okay? It's cool now. You understand him.
It was pretty easy when he first came in. I feel like the hard part is just trying not to laugh. That was probably the first thing for real, because especially in a business like this, there's not many coaches that's going to have an accent for real.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those things that you had to pick up on, and over time, you just get used to it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, real quick, just the communication. We were just talking about that. Like, what does, how much has that changed from last year for you? As far as, just everybody, it looks like everybody on the sidelines, everybody on defense is yelling things out, and you guys are communicating a lot better. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed is that markedly different than last year?
Yeah, just a bit, just because I feel like we focused a lot on, using a lot of communication, especially, as a defense and as a secondary, it's something you got to master. And I feel like since we do play in one of the best stadiums in the league, Lumen gets pretty loud, you guys know. So whenever it's time to communicate, we got to be on point. And we know how it's going to be like in a game atmosphere. So at practice, we got to treat it as much as a game as much as possible. So I feel like that's why our communication has been getting better and better. We still got stuff to work on, but as long as we're taking a step each day, then we'll be good.
When I was in college, they used to surprise us with uniform changes, and they let us know like 2 days before so we get our fits right. So when y'all found out you were wearing the throwbacks, do y'all still get excited that you're wearing the throwbacks, or is it just another day for y'all?
A little bit, kind of excited, but I mean, hey, we already when you already won one time, well, a couple of times, you get used to it for real. But I'm always happy to put on a throwback uniform, just
Best in the game.
because, you know, it is one of the best uniforms. But you know, there's a lot of tradition in those uniforms for real, and for us to be able to wear them now. And, you know, put on a great show for the fans in those uniforms. It's pretty cool for real.
It's going to be very fun to see you guys out there, especially week 1 at home in those throwbacks. Reek, thank you so much for joining us, man. We really appreciate it. You are listening to The Huddle, a preview of next season coming up next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
This is really a prove-it year for Gino. Yeah. It really is.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
And I think Gino is the kind of guy that if you ask him to bet on himself, he absolutely will. Everything that he says, he's got a ton of confidence, and I love that about him. He's not cocky about it either. Yeah, he had almost 70% completion rate 2 years ago, and that led the league. So this is going to be a very, very interesting year with Gino.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Sure, you can fill up at any gas station, but at any gas station, could you score 2 tickets to a Seahawks game? Sure can't. So head to a 76 or Conoco station and turn your next pit stop into a touchdown. When you buy 8 or more gallons with the Fuel Forward app, you can enter to win 2 Seahawks tickets. Next stop, Lumen Field. See official rules for details. Valid July 29th to December 15th, 2024. Copyright 2024 Phillips 66 Company. All rights reserved.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien.
At State Roofing, you can trust us to get your project done right because we prioritize quality and excellence in everything we do. Take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest today, and don't pay until 2025. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back, I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
This is Dr. Andrew Allshouse of Revive Men's Health. If you're always feeling tired or moody, or your sleep is poor, you have low libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health Seattle at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Did you know about the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program? You can get an $80 benefit card to spend at local farmers markets. Use it to buy seasonal fruits, vegetables, and honey. Just bring your new SFMNP card with you when you shop. When you make a purchase, the grower will scan your card. Then you'll confirm the purchase with your PIN.
You're all set. Enjoy those tomatoes.
Thank you, I will.
Find participating markets, local contacts, and more info at seniorfmnp.com. That's seniorfmnp.com.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
You know, someone asked me the other day, do you know how many devices the average home has connected to their Wi-Fi network? Well, it's way more than I thought. I actually went home and counted how many connected devices I own, and it is more than a dozen, all to keep me connected to the good stuff, my streaming, my gaming, all my interneting, you name it. And Xfinity knows that the number of devices we have connected to our internet is growing by the year. That's why they engineered their gateways to handle hundreds of connected devices. Hundreds, for real. And now through September 21st, you can get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. Make sure your home Wi-Fi can handle everything you throw at it, and then some. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to switch today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra after promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. So make the call to 1-800-XFINITY.
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 2 tickets to see ZZ Top and Leonard Skinner live at the White River Amphitheater on September 21st. Head to seattlesports.com/win to enter and see contest rules. That's seattlesports.com/win.
This is The Huddle.
Presented by
Hunt Services and Pacific Lamp and Supply. Every Thursday from noon to 2
on Seattle Sports.
This is The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, and Stacey Ross. Week 1 is finally upon us. It is the start of the NFL regular season with games that actually count, and these are going to really matter for the Seahawks. Let's talk about expectations for this season. I find that mine, you guys, after watching preseason games where I thought the starting defense especially looked a little cleaner, that my expectation overall grew from what it might have been in April to now. I'm still kind of stuck on whether or not I expect them to, sincerely close a gap between them and San Francisco. I do, though, find myself having higher expectations overall for this team. Dave, what about you?
Yeah, I totally agree. And you see somebody was telling me the over-under on wins was like 7.5.
Yeah. That feels low.
That seems very low. And I've had a lot of people ask me, I think they're going to be 10-7. I don't know if they're going to win the division, but I think it's going to be interesting in the NFC West with the offensive geniuses, that coach San Francisco and the Rams, and how that matches up, how Mike McDonald is able to match up. Because I just feel like, McVay for sure had our number,
Yep.
and I think they've won 10 of the last 15 or something like that. And they've lost the last 5 to San Francisco. So I think that's going to be probably the more intriguing matchups this year, is going against those two teams.
Bump, do you find your expectations are a little bit higher now than they might have been earlier in the spring? And if so, why?
Yeah, for sure. They're higher now because I've seen them. I've looked at that defense, and I saw a little bit of the offense. Thankfully, we can come out to practice and kind of pick things apart that way. But I was around 9 wins. Now I'm giving them 10. And that's because of talking to guys like Reek and Farrell Brown and Artie Burns, and then listening to Wyman and Bob do the interviews, and everyone is on the same page. And then you match up with the little things that you saw during the preseason. Offensively, Dave, they kept saying, oh, this offense looks so vanilla. And I was so excited because pre-snap, I go, if this is vanilla, this is the most vanilla I've seen preseason pre-snap in the last 3 or 4 years with all the movements and stuff. And then I start to imagine, okay, what can they do to build off of that? And I get excited because if I'm thinking about the future, I can imagine what Ryan Grubb has cooking up upstairs. And like you said, defensively, they just look like they're where they're supposed to be. And half of the battle on defense, be where you're supposed to be, and you'll be able to make some plays. So I'm just watching the growth of this team. I would imagine they came into the first meeting kind of like, all right, let's see what this guy has to say. And then the next week they come in and they're like, all right, I liked it. What message do you have now? And then they come in like today, we heard music being played, and it's like they're slowly, like Reed described, as becoming an NFL team, and the messaging has been on point.
So what you're saying, if it's vanilla, then it's like French vanilla. It's like Madagascar vanilla. Like that's that imported vanilla bean that's really spicing it up. I can get behind that. Let's talk about Geno in this offense, for that matter, for a couple minutes here. Wyman, I know that there are some people wondering, like, how far can Geno take a team? And that's less specifically about Geno and more about the fact that he's a quarterback they didn't draft. He's an older quarterback, and he's a quarterback who was previously a backup. Of course, there are going to be questions facing this guy. it sure feels like in Ryan Grubb's offense, he can really take advantage of these weapons. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the way. Here's what I think that they're going to do this year that's going to be different is that they're going to take, and we heard this from Ryan Grubb. He says, we are going to take chances. So, and I just love that he threw it up a couple of times for JSN and when the series you described, Bump. And there were so many times last year where I was up on the booth, DK's single covered, the safety's in the middle of the field. Just throw it to him, man. Just throw it up. He's going to win that battle. And I still can't figure out what it is that makes JSN so good. He just, he's not a huge guy. He just gets open. And it's kind of like Tyler Lockett. But yeah, I think the big difference is going to be that they're going to take more chances and they're going to trust. Because I just feel like the way that they're calling games now, with DK, he's either going to get a penalty, draw a penalty, or he's going to make a catch. So, that's the part I'm really excited to see. And Gino, maybe last year wasn't exactly a step back, but it wasn't on the same progression as it was 2 years ago.
Right.
And so I think people have been kind of hard on him about that. And then also I think that that he was restricted a lot last year, that, he didn't get, he didn't have the green light, basically. And I feel like Grubb is going to give him the green light.
If I drafted Bump, JSN, or DK in fantasy football, can I be primed to have a pretty solid season?
Yeah, for sure. I got JSN as my number 3 receiver on my squad, and I like it. You were talking about you don't know why JSN is as good as he is, and I automatically went back to Bobby Ingram. That's who was my mentor when I played. And Bobby wasn't the biggest, the fastest, or the strongest, but he knew how to move people and how to find space and then make the difficult catch. And it was like people fall in love with these measurables, and you should. If you find a DK, you go ahead and grab yourself a DK and A.J. Brown. But some guys just know how to play the game, and you can't describe it. They have a good feel for positioning and how to catch the ball and how to sit in space. I think that's what makes JSN that special. And I want to see what he adds to the game. I was talking to Reek about I see every year he adds something to the game. I'm looking at Jason. I go, all right, what are you going to add this year to your game? He's already gotten a little heavier. He looks like he's about 5-10 pounds heavier. He'll be stronger. But some guys are just ballers, man. You can't even explain it.
Yeah.
The trenches are where we spent a lot of our focus on in the offseason. They really added there defensively, drafting Byron Murphy at number 16 overall, extending Big Cat Williams to keep him there. On the offense, they added Connor Williams in free agency, but there are still some question marks. Dave, and then Bump, I'll get to you with the same question. How do you guys see the trenches right now?
Yeah, I'm a little, I don't know, I'm not concerned, but I'm curious to see what happens at right guard, just because I think Anthony Bradford, you look at some of the things that he does, and they're just remarkable. But then what we hear and what we see a lot is that he doesn't finish blocks and things like that. So, but other than that, I love Laken Tomlinson. Charles Cross, I think, is going to take that step this year. Like, he's going to be more like heading, I don't want to put pressure on him, but like Walter Jones type of, Pro Bowl player, and, someday, Ring of Honor type of player. And so, yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, I'd love to have Abraham Lucas. Love that kid. Love his leadership, how good he was his rookie year. But that's the only concern, I think, that's a real concern. I think you have a battle going on at right guard, but, you get either of those guys, I feel like it's pretty good.
Bump, it feels like defensively the trenches have been solidified.
Oh, I feel good about those trenches.
Yeah.
We still got to see it, right?
Of course.
Still got to see Byron Murphy perform against the ones consistently. We've seen Cat Williams do his thing, Jay Reed, and we haven't even talked about Draymond Jones. And he's the guy that they say you can move him inside, outside. And I really like Mike Morris, the way they've been using him too, Dave. I've seen him at the 1, the 3, wide 5. And he's been everywhere. So just the depth alone, and you mix in the experience that's already there. Jay Reed coming off a year we had 7 sacks. I feel really good about those guys, which makes me feel better about the second level because they should be able to keep them clean.
All right, who better to provide some insight into a new offense than someone who's been here for a decade? Tyler Lockett speaking with reporters next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Are you just fascinated by how Dave got looped into fantasy football?
No, I'm disappointed. I'm not fascinated. I'm disappointed. Yes.
You'll be disappointed if you talk about it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you start talking to me like it's a real game, like, Bob, you should have seen. I had Travis Kelce. I was down by 30 points, and my opponent had the Ravens defense. And then you're talking to me like it's a real game. I'm just going to...
I don't even know how the hell it works. All I did was draft players.
Oh, great. Another thing I have to explain to you.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, if you're taking Viagra or any other pill for ED, I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I want to continue to do this for the rest of my life? If you're like most men, the answer is no. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we can restore blood flow naturally without pumping your body full of chemicals like you've been doing. Guys, you need to come in today and fix this problem now. Why are you putting this off? Viagra's not going to magically start working next week, and you don't want to use shots or go under the knife. Call us today and speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today like the thousands of men who already have. If you're tired of dealing with ED or Peyronie's disease, then call West Coast Men's Health.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. JD Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. For JD Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Listen throughout the week to the Mariners Player Spotlight.
Ever since I got here, I want to win a World Series in Seattle, and this city's starving for another winning team.
Presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
It's Fight Night, live boxing at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. A full evening of boxing action, Saturday, October 19th. Make it a destination event. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this evening of pure excitement, the best in professional boxing. It's Fight Night, October 19th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
You know, someone asked me the other day, do you know how many devices the average home has connected to their Wi-Fi network? Well, it's way more than I thought. I actually went home and counted how many connected devices I own, and it is more than a dozen, all to keep me connected to the good stuff. My streaming, my gaming, all my interneting, you name it. And Xfinity knows that the number of devices we have connected to our internet is growing by the year. That's why they engineered their gateways to handle hundreds of connected devices. Hundreds, for real. And now through September 21st, you can get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. Make sure your home Wi-Fi can handle everything you throw at it, and then some. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to switch today. Xfinity. Bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. So make the call to 1-800-XFINITY.
This is The Huddle.
Presented by
Hunt Services and Pacific Lamp and Supply. Every Thursday from noon to 2
on Seattle Sports.
Tyler Lockett spoke with reporters earlier this week. Let's take a listen.
So how are you feeling heading into the season?
I feel pretty good. Just kind of getting back into it, been trying to do whatever it takes, whether it's trying to learn the offense like it's the back of my hand, or whether it's just being able to stay out a little bit later, catching jugs, or just kind of getting back into my rhythm. But feeling pretty good, running pretty good, and excited to kind of get year 10 underway.
We didn't see a whole lot, obviously, in the preseason. Was that just kind of a maintenance thing to try to get you to this point? Okay?
Yeah, it was just some things that I needed to kind of get worked on and get fixed, and they didn't want me to kind of go out there and make things worse or, kind of put me out to where I'm in jeopardy and not being able to play in the season. So, I think Mike did a great job. The athletic training staff did a great job just being able to kind of work with me and give me some of the things that I felt like I needed to be able to get back out here. And, I think that's what you want. You want A team. You want A plus strength and conditioning staff, A plus athletic training staff, and so everybody did their job. Yeah. Unless you know something I don't.
Not everybody gets to year 10.
Yeah, I was just talking to Lakin about that. So me and Lakin are in the same agency, got the same agent, and we were just talking about, like, man, what's the percentage of guys that get into year 10? And we were like, it's probably 1%. And so, you think that's accurate? I don't know. But, it's a blessing to me still to be a year 10. There's still a good amount of guys that I came in draft class that's still being able to play, and they're still playing at a high level or still being able to be on the team and stuff. And so I think it's a blessing all around. We always say it's 3.5 is the average. And so, basically beat that dang near 3 times.
How invigorating is it when you get a new offensive coordinator that comes in, new offense? It's got to put a little pep in your step a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes, new is good. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to imagine if you were in the same offense for 10 straight years, like if there would be any excitement, for you coming in. Like, meetings will be a lot more difficult because you know everything left and right, because you've been a part of something for so long. And I think for me, it's been interesting because I think every 3 years I've had a new offensive coordinator. And so it's allowed me to approach the game different, and it's allowed me to see the game different and learn different ways and unique abilities to be able to use my skills to go out there and still try to do the same thing that I've been doing. So it's fun learning from each offensive coordinator that I've been under.
And having been in different offenses, what do you like about this one?
I think we all saw UW play last year. So I think it was very exciting. And I think, so many of us get so caught up in, man, they were able to throw the ball. They threw the ball 40 or 50 times. But, I think it's incredible that you even have a running back that rushed for 1,000 yards, while doing that. And so what that showed me was, regardless of whatever a team decided to do, if they wanted to take away the pass, they had dynamic running backs to be able to make plays. When you look at if they wanted to take away some of the run, they was able to throw the ball downfield, be explosive. If they took away explosive, they just dink and dunked all the way down the field. So I think it's very creative the way that Grubb is. With the little amount of time that I've been around him, I think like he's super sophisticated, and I think he sees the game a lot different than how I've kind of seen it in the past. But, definitely looking forward to being able to learn and grow, because as I kind of learn kind of like his scheme and how he does things, I think it's a really cool idea.
Tyler, you've made explosive plays throughout your career, a little bit less last year. Do you think this scheme is going to give you a chance to get back to kind of your explosive ways?
I mean, it just depends on how they decide to utilize me. I mean, last year, yeah, like some of the explosives and stuff went away, but at the same time, I wasn't asked to do a lot of explosive things. So, of course, like on paper, it looks bad, but like for me, I'm just being the teammate that they asked me to be. Sometimes I got to be the decoy, and I got to be able to run and get other people open. Sometimes, you know, I had beat a defender, and me and Gino just weren't able to connect. Sometimes I didn't get into my drive phase a lot more. So there's a lot of scenarios. Sometimes I make a play, it's a flag on the play. You know, so there was a lot of things that may have happened or where things didn't work out. But I think the one thing for me was just to be able to keep fighting, keep playing. At the end of the day, sometimes you need a lot of things to work out as a receiver. You need to make sure it's not a flag. You need to make sure the line blocks, make sure the throw is right there, make sure you catch the ball, make sure the defense is doing what you want them to do. And so, I mean, going into this year, obviously, like, you know, you learn each week how they decide to utilize you. But, you know, if they want me to go out there and be a decoy, that's what I got to do. It's my job, right? If they want me to go out there and I'm getting however many targets, and I'm going to do the best that I can to be able to make those targets work. But for me, you know, going into year 10, I want to be able to be the best version of myself, whether that's blocking, because I could do a way better job of blocking, whether that's being a better decoy, whether that's getting myself open. Like, I'm at the point now where I want to be able to take my game to another level regardless of age, regardless of years. I mean, it's kind of tough to give an example on the spot, but I just think, like, I mean, I play college football, right? Like, I'm not really an air raid person. You know what I mean? Like, I do RPOs, I'll run the ball. Like, I got certain pass plays that I know is going to work. But, like, when you watch his offense and you see some of the things that they do, some things mix in with what I've been a part of, whether I was at Kansas State or whether I was with other coordinators. But there's just one thing that makes it slightly different to where you're like, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I wonder why, you know, we didn't learn this, like, you know, back in the day, or learn this in college, or see this route differently. Like, so I can't really give certain things because then I'm giving away plays, right? But just like certain routes that come with concepts, it's easy for defenses to look at concepts and say, we know what's coming. You know, if inside goes out, outside's probably going in, but that's not always true now. You know what I mean? If outside goes, so it's just stuff like that to where what you see is not what you get. So as a DB, you might be taught if a receiver runs an inside release, that means that 9 times out of 10 he's going inside, but that's not always the case. You know, and it's not always the case if he takes an outside release that he's going to break outside. So when you do things that's different than what the defense is accustomed to seeing, it makes them have to play more honest, which allows you to go back to schematic plays that they're used to, but they don't play it the same because they don't know what's coming.
Speaking of year 10, what do you remember of your first game, that first game in St. Louis, and sort of, I guess, how you felt going into that?
Man, that was after 4 preseasons, right? So, I mean, I was looking forward to it. I didn't know what to expect, but being in St. Louis, I mean, it was close to home. Like, easy drive, easy flight for anybody in my family that wanted to come out there. You know, I was around a lot of great guys, it was a vet-oriented team, so it made it a lot easier for me because really I just had to do my part. I didn't have to do too much. I didn't have to do too little. I just had to go out there and be me. And it felt great because in preseason, you know, I was blessed to be able to establish myself in a way to where a lot of those guys believed in me at returner. You know, they gave me the chance to be number 3, but I also understand some injuries had occurred in preseason, which allowed me to be that. But just catching that first punt return and taking it to the house, it was like I had guys like Sherm that wanted to be out there, you know, like Doug wanted to be out there, Shed wanted to be out there, like, and when you saw a lot of the vets that played, Jermaine Kearse wanted to be out there, it made it easier on me because I was like, man, they would rather get a flag before they let me get smacked. So, you know, that stuff kind of really helped me out a lot, just with knowing, like, okay, I believe in myself, but now they believe in me even more to where they're willing to go an extra play and not even sit on the bench. And so it made it a lot easier for me after I scored the first time I touched the ball.
Tyler, every receiver room has a different identity with Laviska added and Derek healthy this year. What do you think the identity of the receiver room is going to be this year?
I have no clue. Honestly, I think this has been like the best receiving core I've been a part of, just from camp to OTAs to seeing what everybody's done. Like, I think literally, like, we've even let guys go that had a chance to really, really be on the team. And so it sucked because it's like, man, you wish all 90 could be on the team, right? But it doesn't work out that way in the league that we play. But I just think this receiving core is dynamic, and all of us do so many amazing things. And because a lot of us have been on the same team with one another, it's easy to be able to play off of one another. And now our game is starting to correlate with the way that we play, to where you could be able to see that there's been some level of like rhythm and chemistry as we're going out there and playing. We understand, from past systems, the ability for us to run through our route because it gets somebody else open, to where now we get into this grub system. We understand the importance of being able to finish our routes and finish the plays, and understanding how if we can make the blocks look the same as the passes, everything opens up. And so for us, I'm excited, man. You don't want to be too excited, but at the same time, you want to have some type of excitement where you still have that level of composure to go play.
Listen to the latest from DK Metcalf coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Mike McDonald's got his first game on Sunday. Anything we say positive, for some reason, always feels like you're dissing the previous regime or whatever, and it's just not that way.
They're very different.
They're very different. The connectedness of scheme, the connectedness of 11 playing together, and we've said that from day one. This scheme is different. This scheme demands that all 11 know what their responsibilities are and truly playing together. That is the secret sauce.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Rick Riz here with Keith Dashafee, a local owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. With your help and the Improve Your Play program, Pella has chosen a local youth athletic program to receive a $5,000 grant. Keith, who's the lucky winner this week?
Rick, we could not be more excited to announce Lockburn Middle School Sports as one of 2 winners of this $5,000 grant.
Thanks to Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington for helping our local youth thrive.
Hey, college students, want to save more on groceries? Every dollar counts, so my friends at Safeway are helping by giving all university, community, and technical college students an extra 5% savings every day. It's called Safeway for You. Sign up is free and easy. Safeway for You members get extra savings with perks, points, and free products. For all the details and terms, visit Safeway.com/FOR and the letter U. That's Safeway.com/for-you.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
Slumber Ease Mattress Factory reminds parents to discuss safe traveling tips with your children. Plan a safe, well-traveled route to and from activities with at least one friend. Coach your kids to stay alert and be aware of their surroundings, and caution your children to never accept gifts or rides from strangers. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Slumberease Mattress Factory. Talk to the people who've built your mattress in Marysville for over 60 years or find them online at slumberease.com.
This is The Huddle.
Presented by
Hunt Services and Pacific Lamp and Supply. Every Thursday from noon to 2
on Seattle Sports.
You are listening to The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, Stacey Ross. Let's take a listen in to DK Metcalf at the podium now.
What are the challenges or maybe the excitement going into week one? Is it different than any other week in the season?
I think a lot of jitters are built up throughout the offseason. People tired of practicing against each other and want to see a different opponent. So I think that's the build-up and excitement that comes with week one. But, you know, it's still football at the end of the day. You still got to put the ball down and score as many points as the other team, or more points than the other team.
After just a brief cameo in the preseason, you're pretty excited to see what this offense can do with all those guys out there.
Yes, sir. I know we kept it pretty vanilla during the preseason on both sides of the ball, but Grubb is known for his explosive plays down the field, so just looking forward to him opening up the playbook just so we can exploit defenses and push the ball down the field.
DK, you talked about being different in the opener. How different is it under Mike? Can you explain maybe the atmosphere? Is it different under Mike than it was? You've been doing it for a while now.
I got to play week one first to see how everything shakes out from the previous years, but he still wants to win just like Pete wanted to win. That's the name of the game, so I don't think anything is pretty much different in the past. We all have the same goal in mind, that's to win a Super Bowl, but take it 1 week at a time.
DK, a lot of people celebrate their own touchdowns. You seem to get most excited when the other guys on the team score. Talk about pride you take in creating opportunities for other players on the team.
It just comes down to just trying to win the game and doing whatever it takes to win and just helping the team, just with my abilities, whether that's blocking or catching the ball or being a decoy on the backside, just trying to, put the ball in the end zone and score as many points as, I keep saying it, score more points than the other team. I need to pick a different word, but we try to win at the end of the day and, doing whatever it takes to win.
You talked about Mike in the last 6 months
or so. He's very cerebral, loves football, loves the game, loves scheming up other opponents, loves watching film. He's just, all about football, all about, getting everybody better. And he's a very team-oriented guy. So, one individual is not bigger than the team. I think that's the main thing that really, sticks out about his coaching points or, his coaching approach.
Based on what you know about this offense and what you guys have done well so far, what do you feel like is going to be the bread and butter of your offense and what you do best?
Our run game. We're going to run the ball downhill and, make the defense stop our run first. And then, after that, it's pretty much dealer's choice with, how we want to take the game from there. We can, continue to run the ball or push the ball down the field or, get singled up on the outside and, exploit the corner. So I think it all just starts with the run game and, building a foundation from there.
Did you always expect to say that about this style of offense? I mean, you saw Grubb when he was at UW. You know his explosive plays. Did you always expect to say it would start with the run game?
No, but he kind of, nipped that in the bud. The first offensive meeting that we had with, all right, guys, I know we've had explosive plays, but, we're going to run the ball. So I kind of got mad real quick, but, I think the foundation of running the ball first is going to open up everything else for me, Jax, Locke, Noah, everybody else in the receiver room and the tight end room.
Was that really the first thing you said to you?
Yeah. Well, he was happy to be here. Then he said we're going to run the ball.
You talk about wanting to grow as a leader. What do you think a great leader looks like?
I think my first couple years here, Bobby and Russ were the epitome of a great leader. So, doing what they did, leading by example, speaking at the right time, following at the right time, but also taking care of your business first and then trying to help others.
Speaking of leaders, just how have you noticed Gino prepare this offseason and
just speaking life into his teammates. I think that's one thing that he's done an incredible job at this offseason. He's motivating us every play. Anytime we're in the huddle, he's always trying to motivate us that, this is one play at a time, one drive at a time, and we're going to score. And he tries to get the best out of everybody in the huddle at the time. So I think that's one thing that he's done exceptionally well this offseason.
What have you seen from him just in training camp and the way he's motivated this season?
You can just see his confidence growing just by how he's throwing the ball. He's no-looking some passes during practice, his swagger on the field, the way he talks. I think it's going to be a fun year, just by how he's approached this offseason and how he's carried himself throughout this whole offseason.
You've always been a team-first guy when you're answering questions. It's always about the team with you. And so I don't know I'm going to get out of you for this, but, how much do individual accomplishments mean to you, whether it's on the stat sheet, touchdowns, Pro Bowl, and that stuff, whether it comes to how other people talk about you in comparison to the top receivers in the league, or even just setting yourself up for the future?
I think just not focusing on other people and knowing myself first. Once I know myself and I know who I am as a person and as a player, all the other accolades are going to take care of themselves. And just also helping my team, because if the team wins, then, everybody else under the team wins. So just taking care of the team, taking care of my brothers, taking care of Ken, Locke, Jax, whoever the case may be, who has the ball at the time, making sure I put my best effort of blocking and making sure they get in the end zone. And, I think that's going to speak volumes to them, and then it's going to trickle down to everybody else.
DK, you talk about you guys are excited to play a new team, play someone else now it matters. Like, what is it about Denver's defense that stands out to you as a receiver? Their secondary, they have Surtain. What about Denver's defense do you guys look at like, wow, that's pretty good? How do you prepare for that?
I think just with the personnel that they have, they mainly run out of base, nickel or penny, and they're mainly a one-high team, but they play the one-high very well, whether they're matching or playing zone. Like you said, they got a great corner in Pat Surtain. Got two new safeties. Justin Simmons was back there last year. They still got the same middle linebacker, but added a few D linemen, a couple of pieces on the D line. So I think their personnel just fits their scheme. They will all run to the ball, rally to the ball, and they play hard. So we just got to out-physical them, outplay them, and out-hustle them on the offensive side of the ball. And I think everything's going to speak for itself.
How's the Seahawks O-line looking heading into a new season? Let's go in the trenches with Ray Roberts next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Aren't you just fascinated by how Dave got looped into fantasy football?
No, I'm disappointed. I'm not fascinated. I'm disappointed. Yes.
You'll be disappointed if you talk about it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you start talking to me like it's a real game, like, Bob, you should have seen. I had Travis Kelce. I was down by 30 points, and my opponent had the Ravens defense. And then you're talking to me like it's a real game. I'm just going to...
I don't even know how the hell it works. All I did was draft players.
Oh, great. Another thing I have to explain to you.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Someone asked me the other day, do you know how many devices the average home has connected to their Wi-Fi network? Well, it's way more than I thought. I actually went home and counted how many connected devices I own, and it is more than a dozen, all to keep me connected to the good stuff. My streaming, my gaming, all my interneting, you name it. And Xfinity knows that the number of devices we have connected to our internet is growing by the year. That's why they engineered their gateways to handle hundreds of connected devices. Hundreds, for real. And now through September 21st, you can get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. Make sure your home Wi-Fi can handle everything you throw at it and then some. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to switch today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra after promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. So make the call to 1-800-XFINITY.
Summer is here, and now's the time to break through those weight loss frustrations. Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and we have a proven system that can help you lose weight and get healthy. No drugs, no side effects, no calorie counting, no exercise. Just teaching you the simple steps to become a fat-burning machine and keep it off long term. Remove the stress of trying to do this on your own and picture being down 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days with our help. At Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, we know the secret for fast and lasting weight loss using real healthy foods and lifestyle changes. Schedule your free consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of this program was just how quickly it worked. I had lost 17 pounds just in the first 2 weeks. By the end of it, 35 pounds in just 8 weeks, and it was all healthy? Yes, please.
Our program has successfully helped thousands of people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in 60 days. You can start our program in person in Kirkland or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation today by calling 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Rick Riz here with a big thank you to everyone who submitted a nomination for Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program.
Thanks, Rick. This is Elisa with Pella Windows and Doors. With so many amazing entries, we decided to award 2 additional teams with $2,500 prizes. We are so excited to announce Warren Avenue Knights Pee Wee Football and Ferndale Cal Ripken Baseball.
Thanks to you and Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington for helping our local youth thrive.
Ready to take your Seahawks game day to the next level? From pregame sideline passes to postgame field goal kicks, create unforgettable memories with friends and family this season at Lumen Field. Visit Seahawks.com/game day experiences to level up your game day.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
Presented by
Hunt Services and Pacific Lamp and Supply.
Let's go
The Huddle.
You are listening to The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, and Stacey Ross. We are going in the trenches with Ray Roberts. Ray, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm excited for the season to get started.
I'm so excited. Week 1 is finally here. I can't believe it's actually happening. I'm going to start, obviously, getting some of your insight on the offensive line. There are some cool additions to talk about, but I'm going to start with a name we're not going to see out there to start the season, that being Abe Lucas. Last year, this team was without Abe for a good chunk of the season as well. Do you feel they're better prepared to go without him this year? What did you make of the situation they have there at right tackle?
You know, I would have felt a lot better if Fant had taken a few more snaps. He missed a lot of practice during the preseason as well. I don't know if that was injury or he was just doing the old dude baseball cap practices. But what they have at right tackle right now makes you a little bit nervous because you don't know what they have there. And the big thing about Abe is that nobody knows what the injury is, but this dude is such a tone setter that it's going to be imperative that they get him on the field as soon as possible, to me, because he kind of holds down that right side. He kind of sets the tone in the running game and just with his just overall approach and mentality to the game. So hopefully, this long game approach that they're taking doesn't mean it's going to be half a season before we can see him.
Ray, what do you think about the battle at guard with Bradford and Haynes? Who's sort of got the edge there, and who do you think played better in the preseason?
Well, honestly, I thought that that Haynes played better in the preseason, and he played and did things that you'd see veteran players do. So, like a lot of little things along the offensive line that like the average fan doesn't see or doesn't understand or quite know. This dude was doing them. So, like, he was really good, like, in the hand battle games as a game against, I think it was the Chargers where they were rushing the quarterback, and he was kind of getting bull rushed, and he knocked the defensive lineman's hands down, and the guy went to the ground. And some of those little games like that where you're knocking the guy's hands down are things that you don't necessarily know right off the bat when you come to the league. And he was able to do that to deter the bull rush. And then just his desire to finish blocks that I didn't see from Bradford. Bradford was good at, getting into a guy, like grabbing him, and he gets his strong hands on him, and they're not going to go very far after that. But he wasn't working to finish blocks. And that's the thing that gets me. And there were several times where you saw Haynes driving this guy 4 or 5 yards, down the field, really trying to finish blocks. And so I think the thing with Bradford is going to come down to like his consistency and then also his conditioning. Because I think as he gets tired, his consistency and his technique goes down. And I think Haynes is more than ready to kind of step in there. And obviously you're going to have like rookie bumps and mistakes when you step in there. But if Bradford can't hold it down, I'm pretty confident in Haynes.
Hey, Ray, obviously Connor Williams was brought over here to be the starter at that center spot. What would you do with Olu? Would you try to get him on the field at some point this season, and would you have him sit and learn from OG? How would you approach it?
No, I think at this point it might be – he may just have to be in like a sit and watch and learn situation, because if Connor Williams is going to be the dude and he's going to be healthy, then you just want him out there doing what he does. And, maybe if you're in a blowout game or something other like that, you can put Olu in there. But Connor Williams, if he's ready to go at the start, man, you just got to let that guy ride, for everything that he can give you. Because for one thing, he's on a 1-year deal. So you want to see, what he has and what he can do. And maybe he becomes a long-term answer there. And then, with Olu to me is a safe backup at this point, because he's not going to make mistakes. He's a good communicator. He knows what he's doing. He's strong enough to kind of hold things down, but he just doesn't have, I think the way that when I asked John Snyder, like, what was it about Connor Williams? And he just said the guy just kind of owns the space. And he's kind of like a Abe Lucas type dude. He's very like quiet, and just kind of very stoic looking when he's on the field. And he owns the space, and I think Olu can learn a little bit from that.
What do you want to see from Ryan Grubb's offense during the season? For instance, Ray, if there's anything you saw in the preseason where you thought, I'd love to see a bit more of that.
Yeah, so there was a play in the last preseason game where they had fly motion going to the right at the snap of the ball, and then they had another post-snap motion coming back to the left. And then the offensive line was also stepping to the right, and they handed the ball off to the running back, and then he got behind the guy that was pulling to the left of the offense and scored a touchdown. And when you look at it from the back of the defense, it was so confusing for the second level defenders, and they got lost in the whole mix to where you didn't even have to block them, because you were just seeing so much. It was a Kenny McIntosh touchdown. You were seeing so much that you didn't know how to trust your eyes in it, and just that little bit of hesitation created a lane for McIntosh to score a touchdown. And it reminded me of a San Francisco play where they got Bobby Wagner like that. He got just caught up trying to figure out where the ball was going, and then they handed the ball to Christian McCaffrey. I think they were like on the 15-yard line or something, and Chris McCaffrey pretty much walked into the end zone without even blocking Bobby Wagner. And so, like, those types of things, that way you disguise plays. It's not trickeration. The play is still like a split zone type of running play. It is still a physical play for the offensive line, but it really challenges the eye discipline of the second level. And so when you hear them talking about they're chasing edges, that's like a phrase that McDonald uses, that they're chasing edges. They're not chasing the edge of like setting the edge on the defense. They're not setting the edge about talking about trying to get to the edge of the offense and run the ball. They're trying to find edges where they can win. And so in that situation, the edge they got was the hesitation that it took for the linebacker, and then for the dude that took the stiff arm, the safety. He was backpedaling. He didn't know which way to go. And so by the time he reacted to the play, he was already out leveraged by the runner. And so those are the types of edges that they're chasing, and that's what the offense can give them.
Hey, Ray, we're talking trenches. So on the other side, one guy we talked about a little bit, Jaron Reed, and I heard Aden Dirty talking about him, saying that he is just overwhelming offensive lineman, especially down in Tennessee. I feel like we've talked about the other guys so much that Jay Reed really had a pretty good year last year. What do you see from him?
You know what? It looks a little bit more like the older Jaron Reed. And the thing to me, Dave, last year we were trying to figure out, like, hey, this is a 4-3 defense with a 3-4 concept. This is a 3-4 defense with a 4-3 concept. It was it was so hard to figure out what the heck they were doing. And so you're like, and then Clint Hurd is telling us that they're playing defensive line the way they've always played defensive line. But you're like, man, that's not what my eyes are telling me. You know what I'm saying? And so when I see Reed now, he looks more aggressive, like when you're two gap and you're kind of holding up the defensive lineman, you're trying to play a gap, and you're trying to eat up space for linebackers to run and stuff. When you're more on the attack, man, if you have the B gap, you just attack the B gap and you defend, you defeat the player in the B gap. And to me, that's where Reed is at his best. I don't think he's a read and react type of a player. He's a get up the field and react on the move type of player, and he's been able to do that in the preseason. There was a play early in the preseason where Boye Mafe had set the edge playing on the right side of the defense, and then Jaron Reed took the guard and drove him back into the backfield, and so then the running back had to cut back early, and then the two linebackers filled the gaps and made the tackle for no gain. That's the type of play that Jaron Reed is capable of, and I think the style and approach that they have right now fits what he does better.
He is Ray Roberts, going to join us every single week on The Huddle. Of course, you can also hear Ray on the Seahawks pre- and post-game show this Sunday. Thanks so much, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, no problem. You guys have a good one. Go Hawks.
Thanks, Ray.
Voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel, joins us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
The Daniel Jeremiah Show every Wednesday with us here at 8:30.
I'm all in on McDonald in terms of leadership, in-game intelligence, the ability to relate to guys, the cutting-edge scheme that everybody is copying around the league as well as in college football. So I'm all in on him. Gino, I'm excited for him. And anytime you have a new coordinator, Gino is a down-the-field passer, Grubb's a down-the-field coordinator. It appears as if it's going to be a good marriage.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft, and we've got an offer you're not going to want to wait for. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Stop waiting. We're having a trade-in sale. You'll save $30 per door and drawer front off the cost of your new kitchen. Count them up and see how much you'll save. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
Hey, babe. Yeah, the bank password is Moneybags, but a $ instead of the S.
Mr. Moneybags here is about to get his identity stolen.
Wait, what?
If he used 1Password, he can share logins, credit cards, and other important information with just his wife, not the whole store. Sir, your card's been declined.
Again?
Security is complicated. 1Password isn't. And right now, get a free 2-week trial at onepassword.com. That's 2 free weeks at onepassword.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Is this house a good price compared to others in the area? Are prices going up or down? If I don't make an offer right this very moment, will I miss my chance? These are just some of the questions a home buyer might ask. And these are the sorts of questions an agent who is a realtor can help answer. Because realtors have the expertise, data, and access to specialty training to help you navigate the process of buying a home. They provide support, guidance, and have your back every step of the way. That's what realtors do, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Beyonce's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a Colonial with high ceilings, hard floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
This is The Huddle.
Presented by
Hunt Services and Pacific Lamp and Supply. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
on Seattle Sports.
You are listening to The Huddle. Joining us right now, voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel. Rabes, how's it going? Yet another season about to start here.
Hang on. There we go. I couldn't find my button.
We have new buttons.
Thank you so much. Well, yeah, and being of an old school, I didn't even recognize that those were the things to push. So, listen.
You
yes,
usually have people doing those things for you.
I have a lot of people doing that. And normally, I'm not even up at 1:15 in the afternoon. I mean, normally it's, I sleep till about 3 in the afternoon, go down and have some soup. Go back upstairs, lay down for a while, take a nap. I'm old. What can I tell you?
Yeah, play some rummy.
Play some rummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Cribbage. You have seen a lot of iterations of Seahawks team for the first time in 14 years. This is one that's going to have a new head coach.
Yeah.
What stands out to you so far about Mike McDonald? What have you noticed?
I love his business-like manner, and that he just gets right to the point. I like that about him. I think he's we'll be able to tell firsthand, obviously, when we actually see them on the field and implementing all the things that they put in during the OTAs and training camp and preseason. Because as the guys we talked to today and Coach said himself, we really haven't seen very much. I mean, they've kept it as vanilla as they wanted to keep it, which is a good thing, I think. So I'm looking forward to that. But just above and beyond that, this is a guy that strikes me as somebody who was ready to be a head coach. And this is his time. He's prepared himself. He knows who he is. He knows what he wants to do. I think that's great. There's a lot of guys you see that are head coaches, that get in it, especially at an early age, that they're just not ready. I think this guy is.
He's got a little bit of a sense of humor too.
He does.
Remember in the production meeting, he was talking about we're 12. We want to be 12 guys out there instead of 11. And then he broke it down. He was like, it's like 1.09, and nobody laughed. And he goes, well, the guys like it. They liked it. So yeah, I think he's starting to kind of get comfortable to the point where you can see what he's all about. But I like that too about him. Like it's less words. Like he gets to the point with less words, I feel like.
And I think, and he was described to us by someone here in the organization as very much on that cusp of everything that's kind of new in pro football, the statistics, the science, the numbers, all those things they're very much into. How to get guys ready, what's just the right time, how much time he should play, how much time he should rest, what the food, all those things. And he's also got hard school in him. Old school kind of playing hard, knocking people around. I like that. I like that. That's kind of how he was schooled and how he's teaching his players. And you just listen to him talk, and they just come right back with that same thing. This is what we want to be: consistent, hard hitting, making plays. Don't know where we're coming from on defense. We're coming from all sides. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to being surprised at times. You mean that's who made that play from all the way on the other side of the field? I love those kinds of calls.
We know Gino's going to make this offense go. And I look at Gino, I'm like, man, he's an old head, but a young head at the same time as far as his starts. Have you seen a change in him and maybe the way he's approaching this game or the way he communicates at all?
I think if there's any change, there's even more confidence. And he's never been one that's lacked for confidence, I don't think. But to watch him as he carries himself as the unquestioned leader of this team. First of all, he's one of the oldest guys on the roster. But aside from that, your quarterback has to be that guy. Such a different situation with what we're facing this week, opening week against Denver, who's starting a rookie quarterback. We went through that as well, how many years ago? But that guy carried himself, a little more like, I belong here, talking about Russell in those days. Gino has earned the right to be this guy, and he's never failed to live up to those expectations, in my estimation. Does he throw every pass perfectly? No. No quarterback does. Ask Tom Brady how many passes he missed that he had guys open and didn't hit him or whatever. And he's the GOAT. So I think that Gino is ready for this role. I think he really likes this system. I think even though it's kind of new language, even though it's a new sort of philosophy a little bit, I think he really likes it. I think he fits in very well with it. Grubb likes to run the ball and throw the ball deep, explosive plays, keep the defense on their heels. That's exactly what Gino does well. So I think we could be in for some really fun times this year. And then look at the guys around him that he has, that cast that he has to throw to and run the ball. Holy smokes, this could be great fun.
Rabes, most of the names that you were calling in the preseason are guys that, because they were seeing a lot of time in the preseason, aren't usually going to see a ton of time in the regular season. They're fighting for jobs. Maybe they're backups or third stringers. However, is there a name that you thought, God, I really think he can translate some of this and make a bit of an impact on this team?
One of the guys, and not counting some of the high round draft choices, obviously, but I think we talked about it even on the broadcast last week or 2 weeks ago. And he's not a rookie. He's not a young guy. But Laviska Shenault has been a guy that's just stood out to me because of all the things that he can do. It is a game of the more things you can do, even in this specialized era of professional football. If you can cover kicks, if you can return kicks, if you can catch passes and run after the catch and block for your guys downfield, you got a place in the National Football League. And I've just liked what I've seen from him. He's a veteran, so he understands what he has to do to be here. Sometimes, as we know, Dave, you can tell a rookie, you just can't tell them much. Young guys don't know what they don't know. But veterans who've been around a little bit, they understand. I've liked him since early in training camp, and I look forward to keeping my eye on him.
You excited about the kickoff? I hope it doesn't just become let's just fair catch it and take it at the 30. I'm wondering if we're going to all of a sudden, because nobody was going to show it during the preseason, if they have like a throwback or like the Music City Miracle play or something like that. I wonder if we're going to see some interesting things, or do you think it's just going to be the same old?
That might be a little too interesting, some of those things, throwbacks and things like that. I don't know if you want to take that chance, but I certainly expect to see different blocking schemes, different ways of returning, starting one way, going the other, how you peel guys off. You're constrained because of where your guys have to line up and the fact that they can't go anywhere until the ball is touched. So, we saw Jason's a couple of times kick it into the end zone. Okay, it's going to come out to the 30. Returning it, I don't know I haven't looked at the numbers. I don't know what all the averages of all the returns through preseason, but I can't imagine they're much past the 30, maybe a little bit further. So, it's going to be sort of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The key is going to be, who is that guy? Who is the guy that's returning them for you? Because if he's really got talent, if he can explode through a little gap rather than take some time to get up to speed or all, now you have a chance of returning a ball a long way. Yeah. Because once you clear that main group of guys, that's where the tacklers are.
There's a kicker.
There's a kicker to beat, and we know that most kickers get beat in that respect. So, we may see some fun stuff, but I'm looking forward to a little more of just let's now execute better than and a little more dramatically than what we saw in training camp.
We are looking forward to finally seeing the start of this season. We've been talking about it for months and months and months.
Have
and
we?
It's finally here. Yes. Braves. And we're finally going to hear you on the call too. Week 1 Sunday against the Denver Broncos here at Lumen alongside Dave Wyman, obviously. Raves, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. The first of many of our huddles this season.
That's right. As a reminder, normally these are Thursday, noon to 2, Wednesday today, but
I'll
back with you guys Thursday. Yeah, good. Thank you. Thank you, Wyman.
Yeah,
you're listening to The Huddle. Coming up next, an opponent preview with a Broncos reporter.
It's a new era for the Seahawks.
I can't wait to see what this defense looks like.
He is the complete opposite in so many ways of what we've seen.
It's a work in progress since the day you walk in the door of where we're at, where we want to go.
And Seattle Sports will take you behind the scenes as the team gets ready for the 2024 season.
I feel like this game was very explosive.
A defense where everybody knows what they're doing, and so that frees you up to just fly around the field and go make plays.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks.
Rick Riz here with a big thank you to everyone who submitted a nomination for Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program.
Thanks, Rick. This is Elisa with Pella Windows and Doors. With so many amazing entries, we decided to award 2 additional teams with $2,500 prizes. We are so excited to announce Warren Avenue Knights Pee Wee Football and Ferndale Cal Ripken Baseball.
Thanks to you and Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington for helping our local youth thrive.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about football. Have fun, but be responsible on game day. Even if it's on your best friend's 100-inch 4K UDR and surround sound. 5.1. If you feel sacked in the fourth quarter, a designated driver needs to take you to your end zone. If you get carried away with too many Bloody Marys after a few too many Hail Marys, call for a timeout. You get the point. Be safe on game day.
1-800-DUI-AWAY!
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about Google. It's so important, it's a verb. Google it. Then check out our hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. They ended my case with such favorable results that even the judge was surprised. Give yourself the absolute best chance of staying out of jail and give Bradley Johnson a call. I contacted other firms with no call back. I then called Bradley Johnson and scheduled a meeting immediately. Google us.
1-800-DUI-AWAY!
This Thursday's Spotlight at Waterfront Park Performance is Lady A Productions. Experience an evening of blues, soul, and gospel, September 5th at Waterfront Park on Pier 62. This free event is open to all ages, September 5th, 6 to 8 p.m. Lady A's performances are a fusion of high energy, profound storytelling, and messages woven with love and encouragement. Seattle's new waterfront is being built for you. Come and enjoy it. Full schedule of events at waterfrontparkseattle.org. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
Georgetown License reminds parents to discuss safe traveling tips with your children. Plan a safe, well-traveled route to and from activities with at least one friend. Coach your kids to stay alert and be aware of their surroundings, and caution your children to never accept gifts or rides from strangers. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Georgetown License, taking care of all your vehicle and vessel licensing needs for over 30 years. Online at georgetownlicense.com.
Hawks Live.
Tomorrow night from 7 to 9.
Live from Bellevue Square Center Court.
Geno Smith has himself a day.
Presented by the Dining District of the Bellevue Collection.
On Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Heward here, and I have had my share of sports injuries, and I know a little bit about pain. Well, that's what football will do to you from head to toe. But you don't have to play professional sports to know what I'm talking about. Painful joints from arthritis can affect anyone and make it hard to do pretty much anything. Well, that's where my friend, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine comes into play. He has seen so many patients through the years suffering from chronic joint pain caused by arthritis. So don't let pain stop you from your quality of life. Don't let pain stop you from enjoying life. Consider Dr. Nelson the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. That's right, your own stem cells and platelet-rich plasma to harness your own body's healing potential. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
You know, being out of camp this time of year, you get to see some absolute physical specimens, guys that have trained all summer to be in the best shape of their life. Now, most of us don't have that kind of time, energy, resources, or genetics to look like some of those guys, but we can certainly look our very best with a little help from Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It's Mike Salk here, and I used that program last year to lose 35 pounds. That's right, lost 35 pounds, and it only took me 8 weeks to do it. Guess what? It wasn't that hard. It wasn't that painful either. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic devised a plan that was right for me. I ate real food that you buy at the grocery store. I lost weight, and I looked and felt my very best. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss. So schedule a free, no-obligation consultation right now by going to eastsideweightlossklinic.com. Just see if it's right for you. 425-588-0080 is the number, or eastsideweightlossklinic.com. Again, 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossklinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
This is The Huddle.
Presented by
Hunt Services and Pacific Lamp and Supply. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
on Seattle Sports.
You are listening to The Huddle. Now time for an opponent preview with the Athletic Broncos writer, Nick Kosmider. Nick, how's it going?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
You know, it's a very different Broncos team from the last time these two faced off. Last time, all eyes were obviously on Russell Wilson, and it was this huge reunion in Week 1. Now all eyes, it feels, on Bo Nix, the first rookie starter for the Broncos since John Elway, correct, in Week 1. What's the hype like around Bo over there?
Well, that is correct, and you're definitely right about this being a completely different team. There are only 14 players on Denver's active roster right now who are on that game day Week 1 roster just 2 years ago. So that just gives you a sense of how much the Broncos have overturned their roster in a really short time, and it is highlighted by their new quarterback, Bo Nix. Obviously, Russell Wilson's 2 years here. could charitably be described as a roller coaster. And they released him in March after just 30 starts. And so they have pinned a lot of their hopes onto Bo Nix. He won the job in camp, and it wasn't particularly close. As camp wound down, he was by far the best performer, both in practices and in the preseason. And so there is a considerable amount of optimism that he is going to eventually be the guy that plugs that carousel, because the Broncos have had 7 different week 1 starters at quarterback in the last 9 seasons. They have shuffled through 12 different starters since Peyton Manning retired after the 2015 season. And it's just been really the turnover, the inconsistency, the questions at that most important position have been a big part of the reason why Denver has not made the playoffs since they won that Super Bowl, closing in on a decade ago. So that all brings it back to Nix and why there's so much optimism around him. He was just named a team captain this morning, in a vote by teammates. He's the first Broncos rookie to be named a team captain since 1967. So there is a lot of hope that the Broncos and their fans are pinning around Bo Nix.
Yeah, Nick, I love watching Bo do his thing in the preseason, man. But as you know, sometimes or most times a quarterback is only as good as his protection and his weapons on the outside. When you look at this receiving core with Cortland and Josh and Marvin, and especially Troy, obviously him being an Oregon guy in the Northwest, we're familiar with them. What do you see?
Yeah, it's a group that there is a lot to prove for most of these guys, right? Cortland Sutton, who you mentioned, he's sort of the known commodity. He's a guy that's been here since 2018. He had a career best 10 touchdowns last year. He's the guy that Nix is going to rely heavily upon in some of those big moments where you just kind of have to have it. Those two have already started to develop that kind of chemistry that we've seen. But to your point, after that, there are question marks. They let go of, or they traded Jerry Jeudy in the offseason to Cleveland rather than pay him a contract extension. And so it's up to a number of new guys to step up. Josh Reynolds, of course, they signed him as a free agent, played in a similar system to what the Broncos do while with Dan Campbell there in Detroit, had one of his better years last year. So they're hoping that he's kind of a guy that's ready to hit the next level. He'll certainly be a big part of what they do. I'm really curious about Marvin Mims. It's his second year, was a second-round draft pick, late second-round draft pick last season, had some really big moments as sort of a big play, down-the-field playmaker early last year, but then kind of got lost in the shuffle as the year went on. So I'm really curious to see how much the plan for him expands here in year 2 and whether he could be kind of a more consistent threat in that offense. And then the big playmaker question is at tight end. The Broncos had no production at that position last year because Greg Dulcich, the guy that they were depending on to be that mismatch creator guy that Sean Payton has often had in his offense, Dulcich played in only 2 games, didn't even finish either one of them due to hamstring injuries. He's been healthy during training camp, and they're hoping that he can stay that way and be a big part of what they do.
What's Sean Payton been instilling as far as a culture there? We're seeing a new head coach here in Seattle, and it's an unfamiliar storyline for us to be like, okay, now we're talking about how he rolls out a new culture and who he wants to be. What's the groundwork been for Sean Payton?
Yeah, well, the groundwork has started with a lot of, again, just a lot of roster shuffling. I mean, this team this offseason got rid of a lot of veterans who had been here for a long time. We mentioned Wilson, of course, but also Justin Simmons. He had been the longest tenured player for the Broncos. He was entering the last year of his deal, but had no guaranteed money left, and the Broncos released him. He ended up signing with Atlanta. Lloyd Cushenberry, the center, Josie Jewell, the inside linebacker, another pair of guys had been here for a long time, were allowed to kind of walk and go elsewhere in free agency. They traded Jerry Jeudy. So just a lot of kind of moving out guys who, while kind of key figures of this team, had not been a part of winning. And so that they wanted to kind of bring in a fresh group. And that's really what they have done over the last 2 seasons, especially, again, this offseason was where a lot of that work got done. And so that's been the biggest part of it, is just trying to identify the players that fit into not only the scheme that Peyton and Vance Joseph on the defensive side want to implement, but also just the general way that they go about, being in the building, preparing each week, all those sorts of things. It's looked like a lot of change over the course of, again, less than 2 years.
Hey, Nick, obviously you guys or the Broncos are in just a tough division with Pat Mahomes, and now you have Harbaugh and Herbert to deal with, and who knows what the Raiders are going to look like. Even though there has been some preseason success with Bo Nix, what do you think the fans are expecting out of this team this year?
When I talk to fans, I think the general hope and expectation is that by the end of this season, it looks like a team ready to take a leap. And so you think to the Detroit Lions, not of last year, but of 2022. They got off to this slow start. You know, I think we're something like 1-6 or something in that range, and then ended up putting it together. The offense that they had built started to click. They got guys healthy. Jared Goff started to get comfortable. And by the end of that season, though they didn't make the playoffs, you could tell that it was a group ready to take a next step. And because of Denver's youth, they're a lot younger than they've been in recent years. They're going to have a lot of rookies and second-year players contributing this year. That's, I think, the hope is that by the end of this season, particularly as it pertains to Bo Nix's development, that they're going to look like a team that come 2025, an offseason in which they'll have all their draft capital for the first time since the Russell Wilson trade, at a time when they'll have a lot more cap space than they did this year, that they will be ready to kind of take that next leap. I think if that can be sort of surmised by the end of this year, most Broncos fans, I think, will be happy with that, almost regardless of what the record was on the way.
This defense obviously moved on from quite a few pieces. Are there some players here that could still surprise fans who are a little more unfamiliar with Denver's team?
Yeah, it is a defense that is not full of household names, right? One exception to that, of course, is Pat Surtain, who just today signed a 4-year, $96 million deal that makes him the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. And look, I mean, this game Sunday is going to have three of the best corners, in the game, in Witherspoon, Reek Woolen, and Pat Surtain. But outside of that, the Denver Broncos have a lot of question marks. Riley Moss is going to be a guy who's probably going to be making his first start at corner opposite Pat Surtain. It's his second year in the NFL. You got a guy like P.J. Locke, Brandon Jones, who are expected to replace the safety tandem of Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson, another two players, again, who had been here for a long time. So those are some of the big question marks. Another guy to watch is Jonah Ellis. He was their third-round pick, the edge rusher out of Utah, has had a really, really strong training camp, and I think will contribute, a lot sooner rather than later. But by and large, it's a group that is, kind of unproven. They're banking on the continuity, having a second-year in Vance Joseph's scheme. They did make some additions on the defensive line. John Franklin Myers, who they acquired from the Jets, pairing with Zach Allen, a guy Seahawks fans know from his days playing with the Cardinals. So they have some talent. That they're playing a slightly different scheme on the defensive front, and that's really where they're hoping that it starts, because they were not good against the run a year ago, and really have to improve there.
There was obviously a lot of speculation on the relationship between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. Never really felt like Russell was Sean's guy, and I would imagine that kind of leaked into the locker room and the culture of the Broncos. Do you feel a difference with the vibe with this team now that it sounds like or seems like Sean Payton has his guy in Bo Nix? Yeah,
it was, whether you want to call it an awkward marriage, a forced marriage, whatever your descriptor might be, it was that from the start, right? Sean Payton, obviously a coach who likes to have a lot of control, no more so than with the offense and the quarterback. He didn't sign Russell Wilson, didn't trade for Russell Wilson. And so there was always going to be very much a wait-and-see component to that relationship. And you just never felt like they truly merged with the way that Sean Payton wanted to play and the way that Russell Wilson, his style. They weren't a perfect marriage. And so with Bo Nix comes the obvious that Payton drafted him. That he was the guy that they identified as the quarterback that would, fit well with what they wanted to do, both scheme-wise, both, culture-wise, whatever you want to say. That's sort of their handpicked guy. And so right away that becomes, it's easier to merge that because that the investment was there from the start. So I think that's been a noted change. And I think that does matter inside of a locker room when you say, hey, that this is the guy that they wanted, the guy that they're going to ride with. So, let's do everything we can to help him succeed here. And I think that's what you've seen so far.
All right, he is the Athletics Broncos reporter, Nick Kosmider, kind enough to join us on the Huddle for a preview of Week 1. Nick, safe travels to Lumen, and have fun covering this one.
Thanks, Nick.
I certainly will. Thank you, guys. Take care.
All right, coming up next, wrapping up with our final thoughts and an interview with Seahawks.com's John Boyle.
It's a new era for the Seahawks.
These players love to play for them.
We're trying to push the envelope, trying to win on the margin. That's the only way to go about it, to win in the NFL.
That's a person that we can believe in. And Seattle Sports will take you behind the scenes as the team gets ready for the 2024 season.
This is a new coaching staff and a new philosophy.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach, just having the whole team buy in, and we all football geniuses. That's what it feels like for real.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
No more stressing over your old vehicle. Donate it today and get it picked up tomorrow. It's the easiest service out there. Donate online at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Donate today at carsforkids.org. Tune in this Sunday as the Seahawks take on Denver. Kickoff at 1:05 p.m. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, proud sponsor of the Seattle Seahawks and the Northwest's biggest and best casino.
Did you know about the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program? You can get an $80 benefit card to spend at local farmers markets. Use it to buy seasonal fruits, vegetables, and honey. Just bring your new SFMNP card with you when you shop. When you make a purchase, the grower will scan your card. Then you'll confirm the purchase with your PIN.
You're all set. Enjoy those tomatoes.
Thank you, I will. Find participating markets, local contacts, and more info at seniorfmnp.com. That's seniorfmnp.com.
You know, someone asked me the other day, do you know how many devices the average home has connected to their Wi-Fi network? Well, it's way more than I thought. I actually went home and counted how many connected devices I own, and it is more than a dozen, all to keep me connected to the good stuff, my streaming, my gaming, all my interneting, you name it. And Xfinity knows that the number of devices we have connected to our internet is growing by the year. That's why they engineered their gateways to handle hundreds of connected devices. Hundreds, for real. And now through September 21st, you can get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. Make sure your home Wi-Fi can handle everything you throw at it, and then some. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to switch today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra after promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. So make the call to 1-800-XFINITY.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
This is The Huddle.
Presented by
Hunt Services and Pacific Lamp and Supply. Every Thursday from noon to 2
on Seattle Sports.
You are listening to a special Wednesday edition of The Huddle. Typically, this is going to be during the regular season on Thursdays from noon to 2. Wednesday today, we got one more Wednesday on the calendar. But otherwise, you guys will typically hear us on Thursdays. And John Boyle will close us out every single Thursday for The Huddle. Boyle, welcome in. Happy to have you starting a new season.
Thank you. Happy to be here. You guys were just so excited to have me. You bumped it up a day.
That's what it was. I was like, I don't want to wait another 24 hours to talk to John Boyle.
Had
Get him
nothing to
here
do with
now.
any other scheduling.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Let's start with just a look ahead to the season as a whole. As we go forward into the season, hey, John, what about week 4? Tell us a bit about this team. But it's kind of fun in week 1 to think what are my expectations for the season? And I find that while I'm not sure if they'll be a playoff team, I really have become more optimistic about this team as the offseason has progressed. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been pretty optimistic the whole time. Just when you look at what Mike McDonald's track record is on defense, and you look at what did this team, what held this team back last year from being better than the 9-8 record they had? It was largely struggles on defense. So if Mike McDonald can come in and do what we expect them to do, and look, I don't think they're not going to be the 2023 Ravens #1 and everything. Like, that's not going to happen in 1 year.
Not with that attitude.
Okay, fine, you're right. I don't think that's a realistic expectation sitting here in week 1. But even if they just get, take that leap up from being near the bottom in a lot of categories to, middle, upper third, you win a couple more games just doing that alone.
Right.
So, Ryan Grubb's offense has looked awesome in training camp. Geno Smith has looked as good as yet. There's just a lot of things I'm seeing out there where it's like, look, they got to prove it, obviously, over the course of 17 games. But there's a lot to like right now.
When I see Mike McDonald, because I got a chance to meet him with John, I think he calls me, "What's up, brother?" But I almost feel bad because I don't want him. He has to memorize everybody's names, and I feel
good at that though.
And I feel like going, "You don't have to remember my name, dude. It's okay. You can call me brother."
You can call me brother.
But how do you think he's doing? I mean, as far as he's kind of the big news. I mean, and handling all that stuff, and just he's got the media stuff going now. I mean, it seems like you never see him like with a panicked look on his face.
I mean, he seems to be like very calm and in control, and I mean, he'll be very upfront about like it's all new to him, and he's going to be learning. Like, he does not come in the season thinking like, here's how it's going to go for 17 weeks, and I got all dialed in. Like, he's going to be constantly adjusting in terms of, X's and O's, but just also how he coaches his team, because it's all new to him. But I don't think we've seen him once seem like overwhelmed by all the extra responsibility that comes with being a head coach. He'll talk a lot about, like, I'm just focused on the next practice, the next team meeting. So he's kind of taking that very one day at a time approach where, this is a huge undertaking for a guy, first-year head coach at 37 years old. But I think he's, keeping it focused on the task at hand, and that's working well for him.
Do you think the young guys benefit the most from a guy like McDonald? Because you're going from Pete Carroll, who I think connects to young people, but it's different when a guy is speaking their language and saying some of the same things. Like, what do you think the young guys get out of it? What do you think the older guys get out of it?
I don't know. I mean, the young guys are calling him corny, so we got Spoon making fun of him. No, I just think he's doing a really good job connecting with players in general, whether young or old. I think for the veteran guys, they've been around a lot of coaches, so I think sometimes it's just being impressed with what he knows and how smart he is, even if they've seen a lot of different things already in the NFL. So, I think he's, maybe his people skills get overlooked because all we think about is this like X's and O's defensive wizard. But I think he is doing a really good job connecting with guys. And just in general, I think younger coaches are going to be able to do that a little better because they're, they know the same things more often, and they're just more tapped into what the players are.
Let's talk about this team that we're going to see on Sunday. I would have loved to see Uchenna Nwosu out there, but we will not be, at least for the first couple weeks of the season, it sounds like. Who are we looking at instead to kind of carry some of that weight?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that they're in better shape there. Like last year, Uchenna's injury was a huge deal. I'm not saying it's the only reason the defense fell off, but it played a big role. I mean, they missed him a lot. And just the fact that you have a guy like Derek Hall. Derek Hall. I'm struggling. You have Derek Hall.
Happens to me all the time.
We're just getting out of the preseason.
Yeah. Well, preseason's for everybody.
Yeah.
Derek Hall looks so good in training camp in the preseason. Boy, Mafe took that leap last year. They go out, they add some depth in a trade, and then even like a guy like Bowser, they just on the practice squad, he knows that defense forward and back from all the time he spent in Baltimore. So I do feel like you're absolutely going to miss Nwosu for however long he's out. We don't really know what he's going to miss. He's not on IR, which is a great sign. But I do think they've got the depth and they've got the guys there to. And also, I mean, Draymond Jones is pretty much playing outside linebacker now, which is not what he was doing last year. Also.
So we saw Dotson at the end, which was incredibly impressive. Watching him run around the field, it's amazing how fast he is. And so, what about Baker? Where are we at with him? You know, is he going to be out there and hit the ground running?
I mean, I think so. Mike McDonald doesn't love talking about injuries, as I'm sure people have noticed by now. So he hasn't given us a lot, but the little bits he said and what we've seen in practice, like I think the plan all along, he missed some time obviously, but was to get him going for this week. We'll probably know more when we see an injury report today after practice, but they feel great about Tyrese Knight, what he's done and all the work he's gotten with the ones. But I do think, the hope and the goal was to get Jerome Baker back. And then, he's a really good player. They like him, but as Tyrell Dodson talked to the media today, they've been having to do a lot of work off the practice field together just to make sure, they're learning each other. They're learning how to communicate well. They're kind of building that camaraderie together because they've missed a lot of time on the field together.
Julian Love, man, it almost seems like once he got that contract, I saw a bit more confidence and personality out of him. And it's almost like because Jamal's out of here and Quandre's out of here, now he's allowed just to be his complete self. They've invested in him. Am I reading that correctly? And then what do you think they're going to get out of him this year?
Yeah, I think that's fair because he came in last year much more feeling like, I'm here to learn from these guys. Jamal's a man, Quandre's a man, and I'm just here to help. Whereas now it's like he's kind of one of those leaders on defense. He just earned a Pro Bowl, which obviously that's going to kind of raise your stats in the locker room and increase your confidence when you've been selected a Pro Bowler by your peers. So yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely feeling like he's coming in. This is a year that he can lead a little more than he did before. He knows, last year he came in as kind of a third safety, not knowing week to week what his role is going to be. This year, he's that every down guy. As for, we haven't really seen yet any of the stuff Mike McDonald wants to do to kind of trick teams with his defense, mixing up the coverages and the secondary, all that. It's going to be much more complex than what we saw in the preseason. And I think Julian Love will benefit. I mean, everyone will benefit from that, but we've seen what Mike did with safeties in Baltimore, and I think Julian Love could really thrive in this defense.
What can you realistically maybe learn about a team in week one? Because we're going to be seeing them against a rookie quarterback. I know it's only 1 week, but I also know that there are a lot of fans that want to be able to leave on Sunday feeling like they've learned something about their team. Yeah,
I mean, obviously it won't be a finished product. They've got 17 games to kind of work through things, but I just think that with it being a new coaching staff, the preseason's always vanilla, but there's even more mystery of we don't know exactly. We know what Baltimore did. We can see what they did on defense last year, but there's no guarantees that Mike isn't bringing his own tweaks to what he wants to do in Seattle. We don't know exactly what Ryan Grubb's offense will look like relative to what it was at UW. DK Metcalf said today, that Grubb focused on running the ball right away when they first met with him, which isn't what he was expecting. So, it's just sort of that general we just start to get glimpses of it. What does it look like? How well is this defense communicating, executing some, pretty high level stuff? It probably won't be perfect, but I think it can just be a good benchmark of okay, they're starting off, here's where they're at.
All right, don't forget you guys can tune in to hear Michael Bumpus host the Seahawks pre- and post-game show on Sunday. Dave Wyman will be doing color commentary during play-by-play with Steve Rabel. Check out Seahawks.com for recaps afterwards from John Boyle, reporter for Seahawks.com. Thanks, John, so much.
Thank you for having me.
Boyle.
This has been The Huddle. Tune in next Thursday from noon to 2.
The Huddle.
Presented by
Hunt Services and Pacific Lamp and Supply. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
On Seattle Sports.
Hawks Live.
Tomorrow night from 7 to 9.
Live from Bellevue Square Center Court. Join former Seahawks Michael Bumpus and Paul Moyer as they go deep on the Hawks with player interviews and opponents' analysis.
And we look like offensively the team that we thought we were.
How do we win a football game? That's what makes you a great quarterback.
Every Thursday night throughout the Hawks season.
Geno Smith has himself a day.
Presented by the Dining District and the Bellevue Collection.
On Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Would you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Have you tried the dining district at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends, meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner and beyond. You can sample international flavors and local favorites from talented chefs. Try a new cocktail on a rooftop bar or watch the game with friends and explore the lively nightlife scene. The Dining District at the Bellevue Collection, where your taste adventure begins. Learn more at BellevueCollection.com.